Smart betting strategies with AnyBet. Bet wisely, enjoy responsibly, and maximize your success. The temperature by AnyBet is...
It's 28 degrees Celsius in Kingston and Montego Bay.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
In Nationwide News at this hour, judicial history. 9 judges of the Court of Appeal are sitting to decide whether time spent in custody should be deducted from mandatory prison sentences.
Jurors finally in place after a decade for start of the trial of the 3 policemen charged in the Mario Dean case.
I feel a little more relief after 10 and a half years, and it feels good. It feels good like we're going somewhere and we're going to move on, and I'm really looking forward to it.
The JLP's Marlon Morgan rejects the opposition leader's claims that the country could be in a worse state if the JLP gets a 3rd term in office.
We have a very difficult task ahead of us, but if Jamaica doesn't get a change of government now, I don't know what kind of state we're going to be.
I want to dismiss that suggestion as alarming, disingenuous and baseless.
Dr. Alfred Dawes vows to transform the city of Portmore into a wellness hub should the PNP form the next government.
The government is committing to addressing stench plaguing Greater Portmore High.
In news from the rest of the world, UK, France and the Commonwealth rally behind Guyana in following Venezuela's incursion.
Pope Francis back on non-invasive mechanical ventilation after he suffered another respiratory crisis today.
In headline sports, Jamaica regional women's cricket title slips further away after a 3rd straight defeat in St. Kitts today.
And later in our broadcast, in the cover story at 5:35, the PNP president, Mark Golding, says his party will have a very tough time dislodging the JLP from government.
We have a corrupt government and a power-hungry government, and they're supported by the elite, and the media is bought out by them too. So it's not an easy road.
The PAJ president, Dashan Hendricks, and political commentator Lloyd B. Smith will join us.
In Public Opinion at 6:26, we ask which civil society organization is the most effective. Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page Nationwide News Network and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, the principal of Greater Portmore High School in St. Catherine, Ricardo Ross, says classes will remain online this week after teachers and staff protested against a persistent foul odor from a nearby sewage treatment plant. The plant is operated by the NWC. Principal Ross will join us.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile, Nationwide 90FM, nationwideradiojm.com, and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store this Monday afternoon, Monday, March 3, 2025.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. 9 judges of the Court of Appeal sat this morning in a historic hearing of a criminal matter. It's the first time in the court's 63-year history that 9 judges have sat to hear an appeal. There are 13 judges on the court. Ricardo Brooks has the details.
Court of Appeal President Marva MacDonald Bishop was joined by Justices Frank Williams, Paulette Williams, Jennifer Straw, Carol Edwards, Nicole Foster Pusey, David Fraser, Nicole Simmons and Vivienne Harris for the historic sitting. The appeal centers around a 56-year-old Portland farmer, Cecil Moore. Moore was convicted in 2016 for wounding with intent and illegal possession of a firearm after he's alleged to have shot a fellow farmer during a dispute over goats. It was the second time he was standing trial for the offences after his 2012 conviction on the same counts was overturned by the Court of Appeal in 2014. A retrial was ordered. In the second trial, Moore was sentenced in the gun court to 15 years at hard labor for the gun charge and 8 years for the charge of wounding. Under Section 20 of the Offences Against the Person Act, a person convicted of wounding with a gun faces a mandatory minimum sentence of 15 years in prison. Moore is asking the Court of Appeal to decide that the time he spent in custody before his trial should be subtracted from the mandatory sentence. He says he deserves credit for that time, considering his constitutional right to liberty. It's understood the 9-judge panel of the Court of Appeal has been assembled because different panels of the court have come to different conclusions on the questions in the past. Legal sources say whatever the outcome of the appeal, the 9 justices will face the prospect of overturning a prior decision of the court. The case is being seen in legal circles as a potential landmark decision in constitutional and criminal law. The matter will continue on Tuesday morning at 10:30. It's expected to conclude on Friday, March 7. The appellant is being represented by Robert Fletcher, while DPP Paula Llewellyn is appearing for the prosecution. The Attorney General's chambers is also appearing in the matter. Ricardo Brooks for Nationwide News.
The trial of the 3 cops charged in connection with the 2014 beating death of Mario Dean is set to get underway tomorrow. The date was set when the 7-member jury was empaneled in the Westmoreland Circuit Court. The 3 cops on trial are Corporal Elaine Stewart and Constables Juliana Cleven and Marlon Grant. They're all charged with manslaughter, perverting the course of justice, and misconduct in a public office. The case has been languishing for more than a decade. Dean was in jail at the Barnett Street Police Station for a ganja spliff when he was brutally beaten on August 3, 2014. The 31-year-old received severe injuries to his head, which left him in a coma. He died 3 days later at the Cornwall Regional Hospital in St. James. It's alleged that the 3 policemen were on duty at the time of the incident. It's further alleged that Corporal Stewart instructed that the cell in which the attack took place be cleaned before the arrival of investigators from the Independent Commission of Investigations. The case was previously listed before the St. James Circuit Court, but it was transferred to the Westmoreland Circuit due to difficulties in empaneling a jury.
Meanwhile, Mario Dean's mother, Mercia Fraser, says she's relieved that the trial will finally get underway.
Honestly, I look forward to this day with a lot of hesitancy, nervousness, and a whole lot of things, because I don't know what's going on. I'm wondering if it's going to be like Montego Bay. But today I am here and I feel a little more relief after 10 and a half years, a little more relief that somewhere I saw more jurors than we really need. And it feels good. It feels good like we're going somewhere and we're going to move on. And I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the closure that I can go on with my life. It's a good start.
She says the constant delay in the trial has taken a toll on her.
Very painful. Each time at court is just stirring up, stirring up. It's like if you have a sore foot and like you hurt it up, that's how it feels. Just stir up more and more and more, bring you back to the day, and you're reviewing and all of that. It was very painful, but I'm looking forward to put that behind.
Mercia Fraser, mother of Mario Dean.
A 25-year-old man has been charged in connection with the October 2024 killing of Police Constable Linroy Codner. He's identified as Dylan Reed, otherwise known as CJ or Bulby, of Black Shop District in St. James. Reed is charged with causing death by dangerous driving. Constable Codner was killed after being mowed down by Reed during a traffic stop on October 4 on the St. John's Main Road in the parish. It's reported that Constable Codner fell down a 50-foot precipice after being mowed down. Reed fled the scene and abandoned the vehicle in his community after the incident. Constable Codner succumbed to multiple brain injuries 16 days later. Reed later turned himself in to the police, accompanied by his attorney. A file was submitted to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, which ruled for him to be charged. Reed is scheduled to appear in the St. James Parish Court on March 12.
Government Senator Marlon Morgan is rejecting opposition leader Mark Golding's claims that the country could be in a worse state if the Jamaica Labour Party, JLP, gets a third term in office. The PNP president made the claim during a recent meeting with party supporters in Hartford, Connecticut. Shaloy Smikle reports.
Speaking to PNP supporters in Hartford, Connecticut recently, opposition leader Mark Golding asserted the party will have a very tough time removing the JLP from government. He also lamented that the PNP's message is not being boosted by the media.
We have a very difficult task ahead of us. But if Jamaica doesn't get a change of government now, I don't know what kind of state we're going to be, because we have a corrupt government and a power-hungry government, and they're supported by the elite, and the media is bought out by them too. So it's not an easy road to trod the road that we are treading, comrades. It is not going to be easy to get them out, because, you know, the news, the things that we put out don't get covered.
Mr. Golding also noted that the PNP is reluctant to share their plans for the country should they form the next government, out of fear their ideas may be stolen. But in a response on Monday, Government Senator Marlon Morgan dismissed the PNP president's claims as disingenuous and baseless.
I know that the opposition leader doesn't seem to have had a good weekend, but while we're at it, I, on behalf of the Jamaica Labour Party, want to reject the suggestion by the opposition leader that were the Jamaica Labour Party to be returned for a third successive term of government, the country would be in a perilous state. I want to dismiss that suggestion as alarmist, disingenuous and baseless, because the truth of the matter is that the opposition leader, in referencing corruption, went on to mention that if Jamaica doesn't get a change of government, he doesn't know what kind of state we're going to be.
Senator Morgan asserted that Jamaica has instead thrived under the Andrew Holness-led administration.
The opposition leader speaking about corruption is like Vladimir Putin speaking about world peace. It is no different from Saudi Arabia speaking about women's rights, or Omar Davies and PJ Patterson speaking about fiscal discipline and responsibility. The Jamaica that we have at present is a Jamaica that is strong and stable in terms of our economic management. We are resilient, so much so that a ratings agency pre-burial could have ascribed to us post-burial and Raphael and so on the same grade that we got pre-burial. This is a Jamaica where there has been no new taxes for 8 successive years, whereas the PNP's plan is to come and tax the people of Jamaica.
Shaloy Smikle for Nationwide News.
Minister with responsibility for water, Matthew Samuda, says emergency rehabilitation works have started at the Greater Portmore Sewage Pond to address the severe challenges affecting the area. The minister, who toured the pond today, says the reservoir will receive a similar upgrade as its twin in the east.
Portmore's population has increased significantly, and the reality is the cost of maintenance is not something we've been able to meet. But I am deeply concerned because it has caused further learning loss for our students. As such, the Water Commission has undertaken emergency works. You'd see some of it has started. We'll be desludging the ponds and installing 3 aerators over the course of the next week and a half. We believe this will bring significant relief to residents, and we'll be working very closely with the school administration and of course citizens to ensure that the work is done and done at a level that gives them the reprieve. Ultimately, the situation is intolerable and we're not going to make excuses for it. We're going to work as quickly as possible to ensure that we're back to normal as quickly as possible.
The stench from the sewage pond has disrupted physical classes at the Greater Portmore High School, forcing lessons online. The rehabilitation work will also include the deployment of 2 additional pumps to increase efficiency, exploration of deodorizing solutions to reduce unpleasant odors, and debushing and clearing of vegetation at the sewage pond. Implementation of strict access control measures to prevent waste deposits and prevent similar disruptions during school hours will also be undertaken. While some relief is expected within 24 hours, the full scope of work is anticipated to be completed within 3 weeks.
No, just a genuine apology to residents and to students who are facing the impact of this system. We are working as quickly as we can. We are investing as much as we can afford to bring this system up to a level of modernity that doesn't have them going through this on a regular basis.
Matthew Samuda, the Minister with responsibility for water. You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. We'll have more after these.
Value Drug Pharmacy offers curbside pickup and delivery of your branded and generic drugs. WhatsApp your prescription to 876-881-6695. The time by Value Drug Pharmacy is...
It's 14 minutes after 5.
Rentokil Initial offers air purification solutions with triple filtration and unique auto-sensing capabilities that neutralizes malodor and replaces it with clean air. Call Rentokil Initial at 926-4236 for more details.
The temperature by Rentokil is...
It's 28 degrees Celsius in Kingston and Montego Bay.
The NWC's bill-free promotion is here. Be one of 350 persons to get $20,000 water credit when you pay your bill in full every month until March 31, 2025. And there's more. Oh yes, you can win $300,000, $200,000, or $100,000 cash in the NWC's bill-free promotion if you register for e-bill and pay your bill in full every month until March 31. Conditions apply. Visit nwcjamaica.com for details. Authorized under Section 58(3) of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act, a part of the NWC's bucket full of goodies.
Continuing the news, opposition spokesman on health Dr. Alfred Dawes has vowed to transform the city of Portmore into a wellness hub should the PNP form the next government. This was one of several proposals put forward by the PNP caretaker for Southeast St. Catherine during a town hall meeting in the municipality on Sunday.
When we spoke about a hospital for Portmore, they shut it down and said that they will upgrade the Greater Portmore and Waterford Health Centres. We have that in our manifesto that Portmore will get a hospital. And now you hear them talking about they found land, like them a Christopher Columbus. But I'm going to tell you one idea that we have for Portmore. Portmore, you may hear of health cities. Portmore will be a wellness city where we shall have parks, where we shall have jogging tracks, where we will have after-school programs, where the football, netball, and even domino will be run by the community, where you will get a hospital, where instead of them talking about back road going to turn into Las Vegas, we're going to have retirement villages.
The announcements come amid the PNP's opposition to transitioning Portmore into the country's 15th parish. The governing JLP has defended its decision, noting that parish status is solely for the benefit of the people of Portmore. But the PNP remain resolute, declaring it gerrymandering. Dr. Dawes says the issue is the final nail in the coffin for the JLP to be booted out of government.
This is the final battle before they vote them out in the next general election. These are concrete plans that we have for Portmore. We are not just here to talk about no parish. We want to see the development of Portmore City. Putting a stamp on it and says a parish now, go on by your ways. Go market a town same way. Go hospital at St. Catherine same way. Go bury your dead in our next parish. That is not enough. They want us and the rest of Jamaica to sit by while they overrule the authority of the ECJ to set electoral boundaries. And this is why I say this is the final battle. This shall be their Waterloo.
Dr. Alfred Dawes, PNP caretaker for Southeast St. Catherine and opposition spokesman on health.
And the JLP General Secretary, Dr. Horace Chang, says despite what the polls are showing, the party is the better option to govern the country. He was speaking on Sunday at the Rock River JLP Divisional Conference.
There have been polls going around the place and talking about the middle. There's a very interesting one on Saturday. Not find it very strange. They are fallen significantly, and I won't go into that. Other polls, we are ahead comfortable. But there's a little one in the newspaper that said that people of Jamaica said the right party to run the government for the next 5 years is the Labour Party. Jamaicans are saying the best person to run the country is Andrew Holness and the Labour Party. Yet they have a poll saying, I'm going to vote for the other side. Jamaicans no fool. Jamaicans want the best party, the best person to lead the country and lead the country to prosperity. So we have the best leader, you have the best party, you have the best policies, you have the best program, you have the best everything who you expect to be in government. Something wrong with them numbers here.
Dr. Chang says the investments being made by the government are as a result of the good management of the economy.
There has never been a prime minister, a party leader that has shown so much genuine concern for the quality of life of poor Jamaicans. Let me talk about my own subject. To do all of this, you have to run the economy right. That's why he's the better government, the better person to run the government. Not only build houses for poor people, build more highways, build more roads, building hospitals, building schools across the island. Now you start the Spark program is $40 billion. Z4's 10 million. The Jeep tire puncture as you go on the road. Spark is crackling along. And we'll get more spark and more spark as we fix roads across the country. We build highways because you run the country right and we can have money to spend.
Dr. Horace Chang, the JLP General Secretary.
A man was killed from injuries he sustained in a motor vehicle collision at the Riverton landfill in St. Andrew on Sunday. He is 58-year-old Christopher Levy of Grandison Path in Waterhouse. Reports from the Hunts Bay Police are that at about 3:30 p.m., Levy was at the landfill when he was hit by a motor truck traveling along a path. Levy was pronounced dead at the hospital. The driver has since been warned for prosecution. The Island Traffic Authority, ITA, says 62 people have died in road crashes since the start of the year up to yesterday, March 2. This is from 57 fatal collisions, which represents an 18% decline when compared to the corresponding period last year. The bulk of the fatalities, 34%, occurred in Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, and Westmoreland. Pedestrians lead the fatalities with 17 killed since January. Motorcyclists follow with 15 killed since the start of the year.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
The United Kingdom, France, and the Commonwealth have strongly condemned Venezuela's recent violation of its maritime territory with Guyana. On Saturday, a Venezuelan Coast Guard patrol vessel accosted one of the oil-producing platforms and other vessels operating in Guyana's exclusive economic zone near the Strawbrook Block Oil Reserve. The UK's Foreign Secretary David Lammy described the breach as a serious provocative act. He says the UK is steadfast in its support for Guyana's internationally recognized territorial integrity and is urging Venezuela to refrain from such actions. In a statement, the French External Affairs Ministry called on Venezuela to respect Guyana's sovereignty and territorial integrity, the principles of international law, and the order issued by the International Court of Justice on December 1, 2023. France says Venezuela must refrain from any unilateral action liable to alter the situation that currently exists off the coast of the Essequibo region. And the Commonwealth Secretary-General, Baroness Patricia Scotland, has urged the international community, particularly the Commonwealth, to continue to support Guyana.
The Vatican is reporting that Pope Francis suffered 2 new acute respiratory crises on Monday and was put back on non-invasive mechanical ventilation. According to the Vatican, doctors extracted copious amounts of mucus from his lungs during 2 procedures, in which a camera-tipped tube was sent down into his airways with a sucker at the tip to suction out fluid. The Vatican said the mucus was his body's reaction to the original pneumonia infection and not a new infection. It says Francis remained alert, oriented, and cooperated with medical personnel. The crises were a new setback in what has become more than 2 weeks, a 2-week battle by the 88-year-old Pope who has chronic lung disease. The Vatican hasn't released any photos or videos of Francis since before he entered the hospital on February 14 with a complex lung infection. This has become the Pope's longest absence of his 12-year papacy.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour. Judicial history. 9 judges of the Court of Appeal sat this morning to decide whether time spent in custody should be deducted from mandatory prison sentences.
Jurors finally in place after a decade for start of the trial of the 3 police officers charged in the Mario Dean case.
I feel a little more relief after 10 and a half years, and it feels good. It feels good like we're going somewhere and we're going to move on, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Senator Marlon Morgan rejects the opposition leader's claims that the country would be in a worse state if the government gets a 3rd term in office.
Dr. Alfred Dawes vows to transform the city of Portmore into a wellness hub should the PNP form the next government.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
And listeners, you can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
Are you ready to make your business export ready? Register for the MSME Business Roadshow on March 6, 2025 at the St. Elizabeth Technical High School in Santa Cruz. Tune in to Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we broadcast live from the Business Roadshow. Join Jamaica's Business Ministry to access MSME support and tap into government incentives and financing opportunities. You can also win up to $400,000 in business cash grants. Take this opportunity to start, innovate, export, and grow your business. So come to the St. Elizabeth Technical High School in Santa Cruz on Thursday, March 6th, or tune in to Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the MSME Business Roadshow. Register today at roadshow.miic.gov.jm. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. The MSME Business Roadshow is brought to you by the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Jamaica's Business Ministry, and the Inter-American Development Bank.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Jamaica has been dethroned of the West Indies Women's Super 50 title after going down by 1 wicket to the Leeward Islands at Warner Park in St. Kitts this afternoon. With one set of games to go in the preliminary round, Jamaica are currently sitting 4th in the standings with 16 points. That's 11 behind the leaders Trinidad and Tobago and 10 behind second place Guyana. Barbados are on 24 points and the Windward Islands in 5th with 16. The Leewards last on 12. At the end of Wednesday's final round, the top 2 teams will contest the final. The 3rd and 4th place teams will meet for 3rd overall. It was a historic victory for the Leeward Islands, who are winning their first ever game in the regional Super 50 tournament. Jamaica batted first and posted 253 for 9 in their 50 overs. Captain Rashada Williams, 86, and Abigail Bryce, 72, put on 82 for the 5th wicket, which laid the foundation for the challenging total. Williams also put on 77 for the 2nd wicket, with Jodian Morgan, who weighed in with 35. Kimberly Anthony claimed the 5 for 34, while Jazara Claxton and Amanda Edwards both picked up 2 wickets apiece. The Leewards responded with a 257 for 9 in 49.3 overs, and this was built on the back of a superb unbeaten 88 from Captain Edwards, support coming from Anthony 37 and Edwards and Claxton 34. Selena White and Chile Nation backed 2 wickets apiece. Williams says the team failed to hold on to their chances and in the end paid the price.
I think that was a pretty impressive total. I thought that was a good enough total for our bowlers to defend, but I guess I was wrong. We didn't take our chances when we got them. We got a chance early up in the game, dropped. We got a chance when the game came down to the wire, dropped. We got too many opportunities to not take them, so if you don't take your chances, then you can't win cricket.
Jamaica's captain Rashada Williams. This was Jamaica's 3rd straight defeat, and they faced the Windward Islands on Wednesday. And in all the games today, Trinidad and Tobago carved out their 3rd straight win, and in the process snapped the unbeaten run of Barbados with an impressive 5-wicket victory in St. Paul's. The Bajans were dismissed for 676 in 40 overs, and the Trinis, they responded with 77 for 5 in 22 overs, while Guyana beat the Windwards by 7 wickets at Connery. The Windwards folded for 97 in 38 overs. Guyana raced to 101 for 3 in 25 overs. The meeting called to resolve the current impasse between the island's football referees and the other major stakeholders is still in progress at Sports Time. Professional Football Jamaica Limited, the Jamaica Football Federation and the Referees Association are now locked in a meeting online to hammer out a resolution to get the referees back on the job. JFF boss Michael Ricketts says the meeting is to find out, among other things, why the referees refused to officiate yesterday's round of matches in the Jamaica Premier League. It's understood that the referees withdrew their services over the non-payment of a reported $8 million in referees' fees. This debt is owed by the Jamaica Professional Football Limited. Ricketts says the Jamaica Football Federation has been meeting with the various stakeholders, and as we mentioned, that meeting is still in progress at the moment.
We have had some discussions between last evening and this morning. The JFF certainly must intervene to ensure that we have this situation sorted out. My only disappointment is that the JFF being the regulatory body, I would think that the referees having these issues would consult with us before they decided not to show for this weekend of games. But we definitely are on top of things. We would have had some discussions this morning, and I'm sure, like I've said, the JFF will intervene. We are intent on getting things sorted out, so I'm pretty certain that there will be normality in short order.
Finally, former FIFA President Joseph Sepp Blatter and French football legend Michel Platini are back in court in Switzerland to face accusations of fraud. In 2022, the pair was acquitted in a trial over a payment of 2 million Swiss francs made to Platini and authorized by Blatter in 2011. Both men denied wrongdoing and said the transfer was belated payment for FIFA advisory work by Platini, who formerly led European football governing body UEFA, but the Swiss federal prosecutor appealed against the decision. The new trial is expected to last until Thursday, with a verdict on March 25 at the very latest. Now, the pair appeared before an appeals court on Monday. Blatter reaffirmed that he was innocent. That's sports. We're going to be back with more at 6:05.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Since 2016, 156,000 more Jamaicans are working. This is more than any other time in our history. Your government is caring for you.
The time brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister is
5:31.
Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, is a financial reporting firm that delivers accounting and compliance services on time. Call us today at 876-908-0486-7. Email us at clientservices@cocnjamaica.com or visit our website at www.cocnjamaica.com. COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
The Conference of Choice is back. Join us April 29 to 30 at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel Kingston and online for the world's only Middle Managers Leadership Conference. Hear from 30 business leaders across 4 continents. Expand your network, gain strategies, and elevate your leadership. Learn, connect, and grow with experts. Limited on-site spaces available. Register now at makeyourmarkgroup.com or call 876-978-60022. MMC 2025, a legacy of transformation and execution.
Join the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC, on March 4 at the Transport Center in Halfway Tree as they launch their campaign, Smart Fare, an exciting new initiative designed to improve your commuting experience. Cliff Hughes Online will be broadcasting live from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., bringing you the latest updates. Then tune in to E-Zone from 3 to 5 p.m. for more coverage. Be there for all the excitement and stay tuned to see what's in store. So don't miss Cliff Hughes Online from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and E-Zone from 3 to 5 p.m. live from the Smart Fare campaign at the Transport Center in Halfway Tree. It's going down on March 4. Be there. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, your route to excellence.
It is said relationships in the professional space can easily become very friendly and formalities can become frolicking fun. How difficult is it to keep the lines clear and the boundaries in place? Seeing each other daily 9 to 5 might make for the majority of time shared between two who are attracted to each other. Why is workplace romance discouraged in departments? Is it because they usually flow over into too much emotional energy and burn the house down? Well, let's hear it. Join me, Rodney Campbell, every Tuesday from 9 to 10:30 p.m. for Affairs of the Heart, right here on Nationwide 90 FM. This Tuesday's topic, work husband and wife, working closely together or too dangerously close to the walk?
Affairs of the Heart is brought to you by Supermed Pharmacy, super happy, super healthy, Supermed, and Durex, distributed by Massey Distribution Limited, Jamaica.
Big news! The Big Bite Food Safety Show now airs on Nationwide 90 FM with your host, Alison Richards, the Food Safety Girl. Join Alison every Tuesday from 1 to 2 p.m. as she serves up expert advice, tips, and insights on everything food safety. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and remember, food safety is everybody's business. Don't miss a bite of the action. Tuesdays at 1 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
Cover Story is brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
Multi-link, access every time, everywhere I go. Multi-link, 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use multi-link. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere. Spend while supporting the economy.
Look for the Multi-Link logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network.
Multi-link, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my Multi-Link?
Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide at 5. It's 5:35 and it's time for the cover story. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
Good afternoon, Ricardo. Good afternoon, listeners. Welcome to Nationwide at 5.
How you do?
I'm all right.
Good. Hope you all out there are well on radio and if you are watching us on YouTube. We're turning our attention to some comments made by the PNP president, Mark Golding. He's saying that his party will have a very tough time dislodging the JLP from government. In a meeting with party supporters held recently in Hartford, Connecticut, Mr. Golding lamented that the PNP's message is not being boosted by the media.
Essentially, we have a very difficult task ahead of us. Yeah. But if Jamaica doesn't get a change of government now, I don't know what kind of state we're going to be. You know, because we have a corrupt government and a power-hungry government. And they're supported by the elite. And the media is bought out by them too. So it's not an easy road to trod the road that we are treading, comrades. It is not going to be easy to get them out. Because, you know, the news, the things that we put out don't get covered. You know, even today, there's a poll being run right now. It's a independent. I think it was paid for by some business people. A Don Anderson poll. The key metric in any poll is voter intention. Who do you intend to vote for? That's the key metric. Today they published it on a Saturday, which is the lowest sales of any newspaper day. When it shows that the PNP is 5% ahead. You know, we were at 9 at the end of September, so we have come off a bit. The Labour Party hasn't got any of that. They are where they were. It's the undecided that have grown. In the meantime, they have had their conference, they have had the Spark program, they've had the Reserve Income Tax Credit, which is essentially a $20,000 grant to over 300,000 people. They've just been spending money to try and get themselves back to where they were. And we have been a bit cautious in putting out our ideas because we have found on multiple occasions that they tend to be appropriated by the Labour Party. And then they're so powerful in the media and their communications is so strong, it's very difficult for us to set the narrative to show that we were really the originators of that idea. And so we are trying to time our release so that we don't suffer from that. But in the meantime, we have held our own in the polls. And I think when we start to now reveal what we intend to do for the people, we will see the growth.
Mark Golding, the opposition leader, speaking to PNP supporters in Hartford, Connecticut on the weekend. Well, he's coming under political heat. Yes, he's facing heat this evening for those comments. We're turning to the president of the Press Association of Jamaica, Dashan Hendricks, political commentator and editor-in-chief of the Western Mirror newspaper, Lloyd B. Smith, as well as public commentator Dr. Nadine Spence. Good afternoon, gentlemen and lady. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Cleve.
Good afternoon. Dashan Hendricks.
Good afternoon, Ricardo.
Good afternoon. Let me start with you, Mr. President. Your members have been bought out by this JLP government?
Well, I laugh when you ask me because I would find it really and truly egregious if there is any belief among any government or opposition that a media landscape in Jamaica, as diverse as we are, can be bought out. I don't know how you buy out the media in Jamaica. We're too diverse, we're too independent. If you buy one, everybody going to know. If you buy all, everybody going to know. So I understand that.
The opposition leader seems to be suggesting that because the government has the support of the elites, that may be part of the reason why, they may have the wherewithal to do that.
Well, Ricardo, I don't know. I couldn't answer the question whether or not they have the wherewithal from the elite to buy out the media or not. I honestly don't know. But the accusations that the government has bought out the media is is a pattern that we are seeing in the political landscape, where both not just the opposition, but both major political parties increasingly resorting to undermining the media credibility when coverage doesn't align with their interest. And so I said it last year that we are expecting to continue to see the rhetoric continue in the way it is going to be. It's going to happen for the government and opposition, especially as we are coming into the silly season. But Jamaica as a nation and the media landscape, we are consistently ranked among the top countries globally for press freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And so when political leaders make such broad accusations of the media in terms of bias and corruption and being bought out, they are politically eroding the standing and the public's trust in essential democratic institutions the media represents as well.
There's another point, though, Mr. President, that can be easily disproved. Mr. Golding asserts that the media does not report on the PNP's activities and message.
It's hard to get it into the media, he said, to
Yes.
get their message out.
And that,
Go on, finish.
And I think that is patently untrue. Wouldn't you say, Mr. President?
Well, having had the privilege to work across both broadcast and print media in Jamaica, I have not, in all my years working, seen in any media house that I've worked, anybody take a decision whether or not to suppress a release from the government or the opposition. In fact, releases from the government and opposition are normally looked to be brought high in the newscast or high in the newspaper and stuff like that. But fundamentally speaking, in terms of covering, we never ever, for any release at all, cover everything that we get as release. We get hundreds of releases every day. And we have limited space in terms of on the radio and television, in the pages in the newspaper. We're just physically not going to be able to cover everything. But we try as best as possible to cover as many things as possible. And some things are going to get, just like with everything, some things are going to get dropped by, but the volume, I say they don't get coverage. I don't that happening, and if it is happening in the media where the opposition leader can say that the media is being bought out and they have such strong interest, then Mr. Golding can elect and should elect to bring forth any evidence that...
Hello? Dashan? Seems like we lost him.
Lloyd B. Smith? No. Dr. Spence? No. Not hearing any of them. We're talking to President of the Press Association of Jamaica, the PAJ, Dashan Hendricks, political commentator and editor-in-chief of the Western Mirror, Lloyd B. Smith, and political commentator, Dr. Nadine Spence. This business of the opposition leader making the point to comrades overseas in the United States that his party will have a tough time dislodging the GLP government. He's suggesting, not only suggesting, saying, really, that the PNP is having a hard time with the media, that the elites, the media, been bought out by this GLP government, and so he's having a tough time getting his message across. I can back up what the PAJ president said about how opposition and government releases are treated. In fact, one of the first things I was taught here was that if you carry one clip from the government, then you must have a clip from the opposition to match it, especially in a time when an election is close. So I can speak for this media house that the editorial policy here is that coverage should be given. And that's despite...
equal time.
Equal time.
That's the principle. Equal time.
And
especially in a political season.
And that's despite what some may consider to be the unkind treatment this media house has faced from the opposition PNP. We're up on a break?
Let's take the break and come back.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Clear your barrels and personal shipments with ease and convenience. Request a customs contactless clearance today through CCP at jca.gov.jm. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is...
It's 15 minutes to 6.
Pedestrians, stay alert. Keep your head up and stay off the phone while crossing the road. Don't be a distracted walker. Every step matters. Look out before you step out. A message from the Ministry of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. We're assessing those comments from the opposition leader, the PNP president, Mark Golding, in Hartford, Connecticut, insisting to comrades that the party will face a tough time dislodging the JLP from government and complaining that elites and the media have been bought out and the media has been bought out. He says, we have with us President of the Press Association of Jamaica, the PAJ, Dashan Hendricks, and we also have political commentator Dr. Nadine Spence.
So I wanted to bring Lloyd B into the discussion. You run the Western Mirror.
No, we don't have Lloyd B just
we
yet.
Don't.
Trying to reconnect with him. So I'll go to Dr.
Lloyd
Spence.
B?
Dr. Spence?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, I heard the comments and I listened to them a couple of times and I wondered, did Mr. Golding come across to you as someone who the party has been saying that they're doing well and they're on course to retake government? Did he come across confident to you in those comments?
Not at all, not at all. I mean, you one of the things you said in your coverage is that he was complaining. I don't know if you were deliberate with that choice of word, but when you are confident, you don't complain. You acknowledge where the difficulties are. And it wouldn't be the first time that we've heard a party leader say it's going to be difficult or say to their supporters it's not going to be easy. But this was not said in the same way and in the same tone.
Mm-hmm.
He really was complaining. And he was complaining from a very defeated place. He was coming from a place of feeling that he was wronged and that he's being set upon and being marginalized in a way, that the JLP is not being. And we have to be honest about it and say that he said some things that were also blatantly untrue. I mean, the PNP has dominated the news cycle. I remember when I was at a particular news station, the PNP dominated the news cycle, and you never heard the PNP complaining then that they thought the media was being bought out or anything like that. They were obviously flying high and I remember there was almost a press conference every other day from the PNP camp, and it was always covered, and there was always one or two major news items coming from it. So he said some things that were wrong. I agree with Dashan. What he said about the press as well is dangerous to say. In a democracy like ours, which has always turned on this idea of a free and critical press, I think it is unfortunate that he said what he said in the space that he said it. And for him to complain about our democracy in a place like America now, it means that Mr. Golding isn't thinking. He's not at all thinking. How can you go to America to talk to Americans, even if they're Jamaican Americans in a time like this, and calling our government wicked and corrupt in America at this time in America? It doesn't make any sense to me. I feel as if he's not thinking and he has lost perspective.
The man is under pressure, though, Dr. Spence. He's under pressure. He realizes that he is losing ground. He has lost momentum. And his personal standing is also weakening considerably so since September last year now. Lloyd B. Smith, you're at the Western Mirror. You have been bought out by the JLP?
I have
never been bought out by either the JLP or the PNP. Let me say that very clearly, which is one of the reasons why I quickly exited the political scene after a while, because I will not allow myself to be bought out by anyone. If you look at the history of politics in Jamaica, as far back as I can recall, hello?
Yes, we're hearing you, Lloyd.
May I go ahead?
Yes.
If you look at the history of media and politics in Jamaica, as far back as one can go, this is par for the course. Both political parties, when it suits them, have launched various attacks against the media. I think in this case, though, Mr. Golding needs to apologize, and I tell you why. As was pointed out by Lenina a while ago, he ought not to have made such a statement in another country, especially a country such as the United States, where we know what's happening there now. Secondly, he was overly, you can't make such a sweeping statement. If he had said some persons or some media, one could perhaps understand, but for him to make this sweeping statement that the media has been bought out, it's most regrettable, and it covers all of us in the media, and I take umbrage for that. Secondly, though, I think it's almost, and it's ridiculous when he then goes on to say that the JLP is being supported by the top echelons of the society. I don't know where that is going. I really think that Mr. Golding had a bad hair day, for what it is worth, and obviously he's under a lot of pressure politically. We have been hearing that internally he has been getting some amount of pushback from certain elements in his own party, and also the polls have shown some amount of decline in his own standing and so on. And maybe it's getting to him, but he needs to rewind and come again. I think it's unfortunate what has been said. It's the silly season that is upon us, and he has to be very careful that he doesn't throw out the baby with the bathwater.
Lloyd B. Smith, it's often said that he who complains loudest is usually the one that's losing. Do you think that's the case here?
It could be to a very large extent. Yes, I would agree with that. And somebody needs to sit Mr. Golding down and let him know how to deal with the media. The worst thing that any politician can do is to attack the media, because in the very final analysis, you're going to need the media. So what you need to do, if you have some concerns with the media, then you find ways and means of meeting with media managers or editors in a forum that is not, contentious or abrasive or offensive, and you work out some kind of understanding as to the way forward. And if you have certain specific grievances, you bring them to the fore and let them be dealt with accordingly. But you can't just come out and make a sweeping statement that the media is bought out. No, it is a very regrettable statement.
Lloyd B., you have been around for a long, long time. Yes? Is there precedence for a political leader this close to an election, in an intense election campaign that this is shaping up to be, to utter the words that Mark Golding uttered, that it's going to be very difficult to dislodge the government? It's going to be hard, comrades. Yeah? Why do you say that? Doesn't that reflect his political lack of political nous?
Shall we say naivete, perhaps? It is a self-defeating statement, because if at this stage, when according to the polls, although there has been some amount of decrease in the PMP's overall fortunes as well as himself, but there is still some kind of positive trajectory, and all the everything is put together. Why then would he want to make it look as if the PMP and himself are in a state of desperation? Because that is how it sounded to me. And that is unfortunate. I mean, go out and do the work, go out and do those things and do what you have to do. This statement, I think, suggests as if you're almost throwing in the towel or about to throw in the towel. I've never heard this kind of statement made by a political leader in Jamaica before. Never. It's the first time hearing a political leader saying something like that.
What do you make of that, Dr. Spence? What is that indicating?
Yeah, I think he sounded very defeated and despondent in his tone of voice. That's why I referenced their reports use of the word complaining. I think he's setting up an argument for a PNP loss. He has already started to put together the text for that loss, and part of it is you might say, in all of that assessment of the PNP's fortune, isn't the leader looking at what the PNP has done to itself, not just this go round, but from the ousting of Peter Phillips, because a lot of PNP supporters are carrying resentment from that, and he should have thought about how all of that is going to figure into his prospects as he enters the race for Prime Minister. And so to not accept fully, to sit with a group of comrades and not fully assess his own part in what by his posture is happening now is suggesting to me that he is looking for excuses to put out there because he believes that the PNP is not going to win. I think he believes that they are not going to win. You can hear it in his voice.
Dashan Hendricks, Lloyd B suggests some kind of sit-down perhaps between the media and the opposition to try to soothe any misunderstandings or any tensions. Would the PAJ be open to that?
Yeah, probably at the time I got cut off, it came because I said it earlier. I don't know at what point I got cut off, but I pointed out that I would love to see Mr. Golding bring forth specific evidence or retract the statement of the media being bought out and invite both the government and the opposition as we go more into the silly season to come and sit with us and have some constructive dialogue, because both have expressed concerns about coverage in the media. So let us sit together. Let us work out what you're talking. Let's see what you're talking about. Let's see if you have some legitimacy about what you're talking about and move forward. But to come out and to broad brush the media as being bought out and creating or trying to undermine the credibility of the media in the public's eyes, it's very dangerous. It's almost like we hear in other jurisdictions the media being referred to as a fake news media because it doesn't align with certain coverage that a certain political party wants. So we have to be very careful because of the Democrat. We're not above criticisms. Yeah. Let me put that out there.
Right.
Certainly not above criticisms. But the criticisms have to be fair and they have to be accurate and true. And I don't know if there's any accuracy in this, and if Mr. Golding has any evidence, bring it forward or retract it and let us sit down and have a dialogue between both the opposition and the government and the media to see where we can work out the issues that they are expressing.
Dashan Hendricks, PAJ President, Lloyd B. Smith, political commentator and editor-in-chief at the Western Mirror, and of course Dr. Nadine Spence, political commentator. Thank you all so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Have a good day.
You too. Here's something that I can't quite square. This is the same Mark Golding who said the Jamaican people needs to give himself and his Topanaris friends a chance at government. My Jamaican dictionary tells me Topanaris, those are the elites.
Exactly.
So I don't know if Mr. Golding can have it both ways.
No, he can't.
If he has the friends that are elites that he wants to put in place in government, I don't know how you can say then that the same Topanaris, the same elites are on the side of the government.
I said it this morning, the PNP is facing an issue of a failure of leadership. Golding, we know, is a political novice. Before he had leadership thrusted upon him, before he was ready. In 2020 it was?
Yes.
He was not ready. Yeah? and their options were limited, and his weakness and inexperience are being laid bare because he's not ready yet for the top job. And under the glare and intensity of a campaign, with moments like these, when he recognizes that his poll numbers are plummeting 4 or 5 months before an election at best, that is what you get. Panic. Yeah?
You shouldn't speak the language of defeat, Mr. Golding. It's not a good look.
That's not what leadership is about. Now is the time to roll up your sleeves, motivate your activists, your organizers, and say we have a fight on our hands, and we're going to fight. Because when we fight, we win.
Kamala Harris, circa 2024. It's 6 o'clock. It's time for the headlines.
Cover Story was brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is...
6:01.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Norige Banton. The trial of the 3 police constables charged in connection with the 2014 death of Mario Dean is set to get underway tomorrow. The date was set when the 7-member jury was impaneled in the Westmoreland Circuit Court on Monday. The 3 cops on trial are Corporal Elaine Stewart and Constables Juliana Cleven and Marlon Grant. They're all charged with manslaughter, perverting the course of justice, and misconduct in a public office. The case has been languishing for more than a decade. Dean was in jail at the Barnett Street Police Station for a ganja spliff when he was brutally beaten on August 3, 2014. The 31-year-old received severe injuries to his head, which left him in a coma. He died 3 days later at Cornwall Regional Hospital in St. James. It's alleged that the 3 policemen were on duty at the time of the incident. It's further alleged that Corporal Stewart instructed that the cell in which the attack took place be cleaned before the arrival of investigators from the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDICOM. The case was previously listed before the St. James Circuit Court, but it was transferred to the Westmoreland Circuit Court due to difficulties in empaneling a jury. Meanwhile, Mario Dean's mother, Marcia Fraser, says she's relieved that the trial will finally start.
Honestly, I look forward to this day with a lot of hesitancy, nervousness, and a whole lot of things, because I don't know what's going on. I'm wondering if it's going to be like Montego Bay. But today I am here and I feel a little more relief after 10 and a half years, a little more relief that somewhere as a juror just assault more jurors than we really need. And it feels good. It feels good like we're going somewhere and we're going to move on. And I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the closure that I can go on with my life. It's a good start.
She says the constant delay in the trial has taken a toll on her.
Very painful. Each time at court is just stirring up, stirring up. It's like if you have a sore foot and like you hurt it up, that's how it feels. It's just stir up more and more and more, bring you back to the day, and you're reviewing and all of that. It was very painful, but I'm looking forward to put that behind.
Marcia Fraser, mother of Mario Dean. A 25-year-old man has been charged in connection with the October 2024 killing of Police Constable Linroy Codner. He is identified as Dillon Reed, otherwise called CJ or Bulby of Blackshop District in St. James. Reed is charged with causing death by dangerous driving. Constable Codner was killed after being mowed down by Reed during a traffic stop on October 4 on the St. John's Main Road in St. James. It's reported that Constable Codner fell down a 50-foot precipice after being mowed down. Reed fled the scene and abandoned the vehicle in his community after the incident. Constable Codner succumbed to multiple brain injuries 16 days later. Reed later turned himself in to the police, accompanied by his attorney. A file was submitted to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, which ruled for him to be charged. Reed is scheduled to appear in the St. James Parish Court on March 12. Government Senator Marlon Morgan is rejecting opposition leader Mark Golding's claims that the country could be in a worse state if the Jamaica Labour Party, JLP, gets a third term in office. The PNP president made the claim during a recent meeting with party supporters in Hartford, Connecticut. Speaking to PNP supporters in Connecticut recently, opposition leader Mark Golding asserted the party will have a very tough time removing the JLP from government. He also lamented that the PNP's message is not being carried by the media.
We have a very difficult task ahead of us, but if Jamaica doesn't get a change of government now, I don't know what kind of state we're going to be, because we have a corrupt government and a power-hungry government, and they're supported by the elite, and the media is bought out by them too. So it's not an easy road to trod the road that we are treading, comrades. It is not going to be easy to get them out, because, you know, the news, the things that we put out don't get covered.
Mr. Golding also noted that the PNP is reluctant to share their plans for the country should they form the next government out of fear their ideas may be stolen. But in a response on Monday, Government Senator Marlon Morgan dismissed the PNP president's claims as disingenuous and baseless.
I know that the opposition leader doesn't seem to have had a good weekend, but while we're at it, I, on behalf of the Jamaica Labour Party, want to reject the suggestion by the opposition leader that were the Jamaica Labour Party to be returned for a third successive term of government, the country would be in a perilous state. I want to dismiss that suggestion as alarmist, disingenuous, and baseless, because the truth of the matter is that the opposition leader, in referencing corruption, went on to mention that if Jamaica doesn't get a change of government, he doesn't know what kind of state we're going to be.
Government Senator Marlon Morgan. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gabe Banton. Sports is next.
Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited are authorized distributors of international brands ABB, Omron, STC, Festo, and Thomas & Betts. They supply programmable logic controllers, photoelectric and proximity sensors, contactors and soft starters, power supplies, variable frequency drives, and much more. Visit them at 24 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston, or shop 32 Overton Plaza, 46 Union Street, Montego Bay, or visit their website cleasling.net. Cleasing Industrial Supplies for all your industrial automation and control solutions.
Big news! The Big Bite Food Safety Show now airs on Nationwide 90 FM with your host, Alison Richards, the Food Safety Girl. Join Alison every Tuesday from 1 to 2 p.m. as she serves up expert advice, tips, and insights on everything food safety. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and remember, food safety is everybody's business. Don't miss a bite of the action. Tuesdays at 1 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM.
I'm Wayne Walker. Jamaica has been dethroned of their West Indies Women's Super 50 title. They went down by a wicket to the Leeward Islands at Warner Park in St. Kitts this afternoon. With one set of games to go in the preliminary round, Jamaica currently sitting fourth in the standings with 16 points, 11 behind the leaders, Trinidad and Tobago, and 10 behind second place, Guyana. Barbados are on 24 points. The Windwards are fifth with 16. The Leeward Islands on 12 points. At the end of Wednesday's final round, the top two teams will contest the final with the third and fourth meeting for third place and the bottom two meeting for fifth. It was a historic victory for the Leeward Islands, who were winning their first ever game in the regional Super 50 tournament. Jamaica batted first and posted 253 for 9 in their 50 overs. Captain Rashada Williams, 86, and Abigail Bryce, 72, put on 82 for the fifth wicket, which laid the foundation for the challenging total. Williams also put on 77 for the second wicket with Jodian Morgan, who weighed in with 35. Kimberly Anthony claimed the 5 for 34, while Jazara Claxton and Amanda Edwards bagged 2 apiece. The Leewards responded with 257 for 9 in 49 overs and 3 balls, and this was built on the back of a superb undefeated 88 from their captain Edwards, with support from Anthony, 37, and along with Claxton, 34. Selena White and Chady Nation bagged 2 wickets apiece for Jamaica. Williams says the team failed to hold on to their chances, and in the end they paid the price.
I think that was a pretty impressive total. I thought that was a good enough total for our bowlers to defend, but I guess I was wrong. We didn't take our chances when we got them. We got a chance early up in the game, dropped. We got a chance when the game came down to the wire, dropped. We got too many opportunities to not take them. So if you don't take your chances, then you can't win cricket.
Jamaica's captain Rashada Williams. This was Jamaica's third straight defeat, and they faced the Windward Islands on Wednesday. In another games today, Trinidad and Tobago, they carved out their third straight win and in the process snapped the unbeaten run of Barbados with an impressive 5-wicket win in St. Paul's. The Bajans were dismissed for 76 in 40 overs, and the Trinidad and Tobago Divas, they replied with 77 for 5 in 22 overs, while Guyana beat the Windward Islands by 7 wickets at Conakry. The Windwards folded for 97 in 38 overs. Guyana raced to 101 for 3 in 25. Cricket West Indies President Dr. Kishore Shala was part of a delegation from the Caribbean which visited Peru late last month to discuss and promote international collaboration for cricket ahead of the 2027 Pan American Games. Caribbean Association of National Olympic Committees, CANOC President Keith Joseph was also a part of the team in South America with the aim to strengthen partnerships between nations and explore the potential inclusion of cricket at the Games. Other key participants included Renzo Mayari Velascaro and the president of the Peruvian Olympic Committee, former POC President Jose Quinones Gonzalez, Dario Bartley, CEO of BMP Sports, and Mohan Vaswani, Vice President of Cricket Peru. The discussions focused on advancing cricket development in Peru, fostering collaborative training programs, and creating exchange initiatives to enhance the sport's presence in the region. The delegation also explored strategies for building the necessary infrastructure to support cricket's growth, ensuring that the sport is well positioned for inclusion in the Pan Am Games 2027. The initiative represents a significant step forward, not only for Peru, but also for cricket's broader expansion across the Americas. With continued collaboration, investment, and strategic planning, the idea of seeing cricket at the 2027 Pan American Games and eventually at the 2028 Olympics could be closer to becoming a reality. Gawain Gooden and Lishim Rose were on target in Red Hills United's 2-0 win over Coville Gardens in the Kasafa Ray and Nephew Major League Football competition at the weekend. In other results, Seaview Gardens, they clipped Ligonier United by 1-0. Maxfield Park blanked Pembroke Hall 3-0. Mountain View outscored Bull Bay 3-2. Police Nationals topped Rockford 3-0. Almond Woodford and New Kingston played out a goalless draw. Coach of UWI women, Davian McGo, remains optimistic despite his team suffering a 6-0 defeat against champions Fraser's Whip in their opening match of the Jamaica Women's Premier League on the weekend. McGo says his players are already talking about what they need to do if they are to produce positive results going forward.
it's better to do it here, and we go back to the drawing board. I will come again. We'll definitely come back stronger. I take a lot of positive from this game. One of the first things is that most of the players are making their debut, so now they understand what it will take to compete in this league. So I take that as positive, and I already hear them making certain comments, which is good.
And he says he's happy that they've gotten a first-hand experience of what it takes to compete in this league.
I do expect them to bounce back from this defeat, and if you want to compete in a league like this, you need mental toughness, and this is a part of it. This is a part of growth and development, not just for them, but even for me as a coach.
David McGough, UAE's next match will be against Real Mobay, and that's on Saturday. Former FIFA president Sepp Blatter and French football legend Michel Platini are back in court in Switzerland to face accusations of fraud. In 2022, the pair were acquitted in a trial over a payment of 2 million Swiss francs made to Platini and authorized by Blatter in 2011. Both men denied wrongdoing and said the transfer was belated payment for FIFA advisory work done by Platini, who formerly led the European football governing body UEFA, but the Swiss federal prosecutor appealed against the decision. The new trial is expected to last until Thursday, with a verdict due on March 25. The pair appeared before an appeals court on Monday. Blatter reaffirmed that he was innocent. 6 athletics gold medal winners from the Paris Olympic Games in France last year are amongst the nominees for the Laureus World Sport Awards. The ceremony, set for April 21, will once again be held in the Spanish capital, Madrid. This year marks the 25th anniversary of the prestigious award. Sifan Hassan, Faith Kipyegon, and Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone have been nominated for the Laureus World Sportswoman of the Year award. Hassan claimed Olympic marathon gold in Paris after earning bronze in the 5,000 meters and 10,000 meters. Kipyegon became only 3-time Olympic 1,500 meters champion, and she added silver in the 5,000 meters. McLaughlin-Levrone's world record-breaking run to gold in the 400 meters hurdles was followed up with a gold in the 4x4. Mundo Duplantis, the outstanding pole vaulter who won a second Olympic gold and raised his own world record a further 2 times, is nominated for the Laureus World Sportsman of the Year award. Olympic sprint champion Julian Alfred, Jojo, and Letsilo Tebogo are nominated for the Laureus World Breakthrough Athlete of the Year. Alfred won a first ever Olympic gold for St. Lucia, while Botswana's Tebogo celebrated his first Olympic gold medal thanks to his outstanding victory in the 200 meters. Diver Unanite Wisdom and competitive swimmer Sabrina Lynn were named the male and female athletes of the year at the recent Aquatic Sports Association of Jamaica ASAJ Awards held at Terra Nova. Wisdom received the award for his representation at the Paris Olympic Games and leadership as Jamaica's Olympic team captain. Meanwhile, Lynn was honored for her remarkable performance in the 50 meters free in Paris and her leadership of the 2024 choreographed team. And Wendy Lee was named Coach of the Year for her exceptional leadership and dedication to the athlete development. National coach Gillian Millwood says Alea Atkinson's presentation was a guest speaker was one of the highlights of the night. I'm just going back to a bit of cricket here for a while. Bangladesh Cricket Board Director Najmul Abedin Fahim has given his endorsement for Phil Simmons to continue in his role as head coach of the national team beyond the Champions Trophy. Fahim said the board will sit for official talks with Simmons soon with a view on hammering out a new long-term agreement. Simmons' extension was one of several topics discussed during a board meeting in capital city Dhaka today. The Trinidadian was appointed in October last year on an interim basis. However, Bangladesh won only one series during his 4-month stint, sweeping the West Indies in a 3-match T20 international series. The team made an early exit from the Champions Trophy after losing to India and New Zealand at the group stage. Simmons, though, has won the approval from both the BCB president Farouk Ahmed and director Fahim, the 2 most influential figures in the current board setup. And that will do it for sports, yeah?
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:18.
Visit Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore, for all your prescription needs, gifts, personal care, household and stationery items. The temperature by Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore is
28 degrees Celsius in both Kingston and Montego Bay.
Guilty. Outperform, outlast. Guilty. We top performance. Guilty. Guilty. Chakama. Reliable. Full stop. Not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electrician. Pan select tools, free parts and free repairs. Free parts, free repairs. 2 to 3 years. Hilton. Available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-6111-4. Delta Supply. We service what we sell.
At Active Home Center, we've got everything you need to create that perfect spa retreat. From comfort height toilets to the widest selection in faucets and shower enclosures to stylish tubs and the latest trends in bathroom cabinets in various sizes. Our bathroom collection has the perfect fit for every space and every budget. Your relaxing retreat starts here. Visit our showroom in Kingston at 84 Constance Spring Road or Montego Bay at Barnett Tech Park. Active Home Center. More savings, more choices.
Join the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC, on March 4 at the Transport Center in Halfway Tree as they launch their campaign, Smart Fare, an exciting new initiative designed to improve your commuting experience. Cliff Hughes Online will be broadcasting live from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., bringing you the latest updates. Then tune in to E-Zone from 3 to 5 p.m. for more coverage. Be there for all the excitement and stay tuned to see what's in store. So don't miss Cliff Hughes Online from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and E-Zone from 3 to 5 p.m. live from the Smart Fare campaign at the Transport Center in Halfway Tree. It's going down on March 4. Be there. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, your route to excellence.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, welcome back to Nationwide 90 FM. You are now tuned in to Public Opinion. I'm your host, Mahiri Stewart, and today we are talking about civil society groups. Civil society groups will be the topic at hand on today's Public Opinion. We've seen the chatter about we've seen the chatter about civil society groups in the past week or so, let's say even since the start of the year. And we decided here at Nationwide News to do a little survey to see what the Jamaican public believe is the top of the group when it comes to civil society groups and their effectiveness. So as a result, we have conducted a little experiment and we're going to test it out today. Public Opinion's question today is, which civil society organization is the most effective? That's what we're asking today, and now we're going to take a look at some of the answers. So we're going to start over on Facebook. We went over on Facebook and we asked the public, which civil society organization is the most effective? Let's go through the answers. All right, so the first is Carlington Bartley, who says, social media gives everyone a voice. Civil society groups are cliche. They outlived their usefulness. Cheryl Griffiths says, none, not one. All right, Boss Lady says, none of them. There are no civil society groups. What else we have here? Lily Roses says, not one. They are useless, only wasting money. Marjorie Davis says, there's none in Jamaica. Anthony Shakes says, none of them. They're no good. Carlene Lyle Edwards says, all of these groups need to be banned. I don't see what they are worth. All right. We keep going through. Mark Ranger says, they're all bad. What else we have here? Audley Harriet says, none. They're all a big waste of time, expensive time. We keep going. Vivian Hanchard says, we need Doge to clean house. That's a reference to the Department of Government Efficiency, headed by Elon Musk in the States. Marvin Reed says, citizen action for fair and free elections. So Marvin Reed believes that CAFE is the most effective civil society group. Shirley Brown says, none at all. Ashton Pitt says, I have tremendous appreciation and respect for the National Integrity Action and Dr. Trevor Monroe. John Thomas says, not even one. We keep going on. Edney Powell says, none, not one. Andrew Stewart says, none of the above. Janet Shakespeare says, none. Lloyd Haro says, none. Christine Reed says, none. All right. No, not one, says JJ Mack, and not even one, says Nyoka Stevenson. So we got a lot of nuns. A lot of people think there are no effective civil society groups in the country. But we did, amidst the sea of nuns, get a few answers. One person said Cafe is the most effective civil society group, and another person brought up the National Integrity Action. And Dr. Trevor Monroe, they say NIA is the most effective civil society group. So we keep going. Now we go over to Instagram. Senpai Akihiko says none. Will Ryan Wilson on Instagram says my top 3 are 1, the JFJ, 2, Indicom, and 3, the Integrity Commission. I'm here trying to wonder whether or not Indicom counts as I don't think, does Indicom even count as a civil society group? I think obviously JFJ, but I don't think Indicom is a civil society group. You know, they just carry out investigations. Is Indicom a civil society? I don't think so, you know. Well, I'll have to double check that one. Gloria Watson says none of them. Cass Chief Edwards says not one. Not one of them makes any sense, says Unorthodox 764. And that's all we have over on Instagram. So we're going to check X and then we're going to see what the YouTubers are saying. Griot says, I want to say none of them, but to be honest, it would have to be J-Flag. So there we go. That's a third one I've seen mentioned now. 4th, actually. So we got J-Flag, we got JFJ, we got NIA, we got Cafe as the 4 so far that have been listed by those who don't think it's none. Paul William Irving says none. Goofy Kaboom says none. And Kendall says none. All right, folks. So that's it's a lot of nuns I'm seeing. A lot of nuns I'm seeing. So let's see what's going on in the YouTube chat. Does the YouTube chat believe that there is an effective civil society group out there? Or are they joining the chorus of nuns? Let's see. Let's take a look in the YouTube chat. We asked the people today which civil society group is the most effective. And as I look through the chat, I am seeing more nuns. None, says Everton Wilson. None, says Herman. I'm seeing not one from Trevor Dixon. I'm seeing Novlet Brown. She's also joining in the chorus of nuns. Andy Stevenson says none. Marjorie G says none, Mahiri. Lamore Hines says none, and that's a response. Shelley Clark says none. Andrew Last says none. Who else we have here? JFJ says Iron Lady. MDL says none. Betsy Powell says none. Angela Jones says none. Small Axe says J-Flag. Willow Will says absolutely not one. King Grogu says none, not one. Patrick Williams says none. None, says Angie Favorable 34. Gloria Thomas, none. Glory says none. We already read Lamore Hines. Becca Grant says none. 0 says Cherry Care. So I'm not seeing. I've seen one person. I've seen another person vote. Oh, here we go. Okay, so we have somebody here with a new group that hasn't been mentioned so far. Someone just said. Let me just make sure I got it right. Yes, the JSPCA. Jermaine Brown has voted for the JSPCA as the most effective civil society group. That's the Jamaica Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. So Jermaine Brown, you've just put another civil society group on the board. But is that enough to drown out the sea of nuns? I'm seeing Mikkel says none is the word of the day. Claude West says 0. George Allwood says 0. Father Perry says cafe. So that's another vote for Citizens for Free and Fair Elections. Rommel Parkinson says none. Enos Barnes says none. Hear the children's cry, says the Anfield Effect. There we go. Cindy Lynch says not one. Dege one. So there we go. Hear the children's cry. That's a new one. That's another new one that's been mentioned so far. So we're getting a couple new ones in here, man. I just saw JSPCA. I saw J-Flag. I saw Cafe. Somebody else has voted for Cafe right there. So Strong Link says Cafe gets a pass. Michael Wright says Jamaicans for Justice is good. Vassal Williams says none. Barbara Bailey says, let me help you out. The Integrity Commissions. That's the second vote I've seen for the Integrity Commission so far. None, says Patrick Samuels. Scorpion says none. Michael Bailey says none. I think we're gonna end it here. I've read enough nuns, and it's starting to get to me now, man. It's seemingly the word of the day. I'm not seeing any new answers, man. Lots of nuns, lots and lots of nuns. So there we have it, folks. Oh, Cordia Chambers says JFJ, Jamaicans for Justice. Oh, Cordia Chambers is actually answering a couple more new ones. We got Rise Life Management, Children's First, WMW Jamaica. All right, we're getting a couple new ones in there. Killian Henry says, IC is not civil society, Mahiri. What's this? Small Axe says, I think we don't notice their work because they support civil rights that we take for granted. That's an interesting one to think on as we exit public opinion today. That's from Small Axe. He says, I think we don't notice their work because they support civil rights that we take for granted. That's an interesting one to end on, folks. But that's public opinion as always. Thank you for participating as always. And as always, it's time for the business report.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:31.
Annual eye examinations not only assess your vision but may be life-saving. Eye tests may detect serious health issues that go beyond your vision. Call IQ Optical to schedule your comprehensive eye test today.
The temperature by IQ Optical is...
It's 28 degrees Celsius in Kingston and Montego Bay. Good evening with the business report. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Petroleum marketing company Future Energy Source Company Limited, FESCO, retired $700 million in bonds 3 years ahead of schedule. It has freed itself of double-digit financing charges in the process. This as the company is being spurred by the need for cash to back continuing expansion and wanting to change its debt profile. The move has also freed up collateral which previously backed the bonds but now supports new borrowings tied to the company's expansion drive. FESCO redeemed the bond at the end of last December, 3 years ahead of its maturity date initially set for December 22, 2027. It has requested that the Jamaica Stock Exchange delist the instrument from the JSE private market effective February 24. The bond paid interest at 11.75 per annum. The loan that replaces it is 2.75 percentage points cheaper at 9% and has an extended profile. FESCO CEO Jeremy Barnes says the petroleum marketing company negotiated an extension by 18 months to mid-2029. The 2.75 percentage point difference is expected to yield about $16 million in savings on interest payments, Barnes said. U.S. stocks slid Monday as investors braced for President Donald Trump's proposed tariffs on Canada and Mexico to go into effect by the midnight deadline. The Dow tumbled 650 points. The Dow fell almost 900 points in the afternoon, trading before pulling back slightly. The broader S&P 500 fell 1.76% and the Nasdaq Composite fell 2.64%. The SP 500 posted its biggest one-day decline of the year. The Nasdaq is down about 6.5% since Trump took office on January 20. Trump said the two trading partners had no room left to negotiate to avoid the levies and that he was using tariffs to punish countries that as he put it, were taking from the U.S. economy without giving enough in return. They're all set. They go in effect tomorrow, he said. Trump also signed an executive order on Monday raising tariffs on imports from China to 20%, up from 10%. Trump said the tariffs aimed at bringing China to the table on curtailing fentanyl entering the United States will be raised because the communist country has not done enough to stem the flow of illegal drugs. And finally, in the currency markets, at the close of trading today, it cost 157 Jamaican dollars and 33 cents to buy $1 US. It cost 199 Jamaican dollars and 56 cents to buy £1 British pound, and 110 Jamaican dollars and 46 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the business report. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Stay tuned.
People of Westmoreland, come out to DNY Supermarket in Savlamar. Sunday, March 1st, for the Tasty Beat Easter promotion. The Tasty team will be live with cheese specials, deals, and super discounts. We have the rhythm and the tins for you all Easter. Come out and get your tasty cheese.
Tasty Beats with tasty cheese.
Coveside Concert Series presents Timeless. It happens on March 29 at Plantation Cove, St. Anne, featuring international superstar Dionne Warwick and more stars Myrna Hague, Queen Marcia Griffiths, and Dwayne Stevens. Timeless, March 29. Showtime is 8 p.m. and tickets are now available at Fesco, Fontana Pharmacy, Plantation Smokehouse, and online at coveside.aitix.com.
It is said relationships in the professional space can easily become very friendly and formalities can become frolicking fun. How difficult is it to keep the lines clear and the boundaries in place? Seeing each other daily 9 to 5 might make for the majority of time shared between two who are attracted to each other. Why is workplace romance discouraged in departments? Is it because they usually flow over into too much emotional energy and burn the house down? Well, let's hear it. Join me, Rodney Campbell, every Tuesday from 9 to 10:30 p.m. for Affairs of the Heart, right here on Nationwide 90 FM. This Tuesday's topic, work husband and wife, working closely together or too dangerously close to the walk.
Affairs of the Heart is brought to you by Supermed Pharmacy, Super Happy, Super Healthy, Supermed, and Durex, distributed by Massey Distribution Limited, Jamaica.
Big news! The Big Bite Food Safety Show now airs on Nationwide 90 FM with your host, Alison Richards, the Food Safety Girl. Join Alison every Tuesday from 1 to 2 p.m. as she serves up expert advice, tips, and insights on everything food safety. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and remember, food safety is everybody's business. Don't miss a bite of the action. Tuesdays at 1 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
Are you ready to make your business export ready? Register for the MSME Business Roadshow on March 6, 2025 at the St. Elizabeth Technical High School in Santa Cruz. Tune in to Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we broadcast live from the Business Roadshow. Join Jamaica's Business Ministry to access MSME support and tap into government incentives and financing opportunities. You can also win up to $400,000 in business cash grants. Take this opportunity to start, innovate, export, and grow your business. So come to the St. Elizabeth Technical High School in Santa Cruz on Thursday, March 6th, or tune in to Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the MSME Business Roadshow. Register today at roadshow.mic.gov.jm. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. The MSME Business Roadshow is brought to you by the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Jamaica's Business Ministry, and the Inter-American Development Bank.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
Join the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC, on March 4 at the Transport Center in Halfway Tree as they launch their campaign, Smart Fare, an exciting new initiative designed to improve your commuting experience. Cliff Hughes Online will be broadcasting live from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., bringing you the latest updates. Then tune in to E-Zone from 3 to 5 p.m. for more coverage. Be there for all the excitement and stay tuned to see what's in store. So don't miss Cliff Hughes Online from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and E-Zone from 3 to 5 p.m. live from the Smart Fare campaign at the Transport Center in Halfway Tree. It's going down on March 4. Be there. All this and more. Only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, your route to excellence.
Do you have a consumer-related issue? Want to learn more about matters concerning you as a consumer? Well, keep it locked to Nationwide 90 FM for the Consumer Hour with me, Nora Gay Banton. Weekdays from 9 to 10 a.m. For all your consumer-centric matters, stay tuned to the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Good evening, good evening. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. It's time for the nation's business. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Cliff Hughes.
Turning our attention to the stench that's been plaguing Greater Portmore High, forcing the school to resort to online classes. Now, the principal of the school, Ricardo Ross, says the classes will remain online this week. Classes were moved online last Thursday after teachers and staff protested against a persistent foul odor from the nearby sewage treatment plant operated by the NWC.
The school is one of 3 institutions located in the vicinity of the Greater Portmore Ponds wastewater treatment plant in a very densely populated community. Originally built in 1991, the plant was upgraded and commissioned anew in 2022. Over the years, the plant has been the source of many complaints, including constant overflows, sewage backups, and its unbearable stench.
On Thursday, the NWC said a team would be conducting maintenance work to resolve the issue. The minister with responsibility for water, Matthew Samuda, says emergency rehabilitation works have started at the sewage pond to address the severe challenges which are affecting the area. He toured the pond today and says while some relief is expected within 24 hours, the full scope of the work is anticipated to be completed within 3 weeks.
Calls of deep concern both from the Member of Parliament, Fitzjackson, and of course from members of the School Board of Greater Portmore High. The situation really is intolerable and has affected citizens living in proximity, and students has actually disrupted classes. Now, what you're seeing behind you is the western sewage ponds of the Greater Portmore sewage system. Persons should recall that we rehabilitated the eastern sewage ponds in 2022 at a cost of $935 million. The western ponds behind us require a similar level upgrade. Portmore's population has increased significantly, and the reality is the cost of maintenance is not something we've been able to meet. But I am deeply concerned because it has caused further learning loss for our students. As such, the Water Commission has undertaken emergency works. You'd see some of it has started. We'll be desludging the ponds and installing 3 aerators over the course of the next week and a half. We believe this will bring significant relief to residents, and we'll be working very closely with the school administration and of course citizens to ensure that the work is done and done at a level that gives them the reprieve. Ultimately, the situation is intolerable and we're not going to make excuses for it. We're going to work as quickly as possible to ensure that we're back to normal as quickly as possible.
How long will this take?
We believe you'll start to see benefits as early as tomorrow, but the works will undergo works for the next 3 weeks.
Matthew Samuda, the Minister with responsibility for water. Well, the principal of Greater Portmore High School is Ricardo Ross. Good evening, Mr. Ross.
Good evening.
Good evening to you and your team, sir.
All right, thank you. How long you been at Greater Portmore High School?
Well, I've been principal at the Greater Portmore High School since 2015, September.
So almost 10 years.
That is correct.
And has this problem persisted for those 10 years?
10 years and more, because upon taking up principalship, I would have written several letters from then complaining about the situation. And we would have written to the relevant authorities, NEPA, National Water Commission, the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, the relevant political individuals or member of parliament, the municipal council. So all those persons would have been aware, or is aware, of the challenge we've been experiencing at the Greater Portmore High School and its environment. And so over the years, we realized that persons would have, one, turn up for interview, given the job, and based on the environment, would have declined. We have had persons who
hold it there for me, Mr. Ross. We're going to take a quick break and come back with you.
This time signal is sponsored by Janet Global Accreditation, an agency of the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. The time is now
15 minutes to 7. We're speaking with the principal of Greater Portmore High School, Ricardo Ross, about that persistent stench of sewage affecting classes. Classes are being held online for the remainder of this week while the government seeks to address the issue. Principal Ross, you're saying to us that sometimes you're trying to hire and persons would accept the job and then based on the stench they decline?
That is correct.
It's that
and
bad.
We have had persons who would have taken up the position and resigned shortly thereafter.
That means it permeates the air at Greater Portmore constantly.
Constant. There is a permanent stench on the compound, a permanent stench. And any change from that permanent stench would have been a situation where it worsened.
Worsen? Yeah.
And so we have had a number of teachers who would have exhausted their casual leave, would have exhausted their sick leave, because as you know, based on years of service, persons would have been given sick leave based on their years of service. So persons who just entered the teaching profession would not have had the number of days as those who would have served over 5 or 10 years. And so, separate and apart from that, the teaching learning process would have been interrupted on several occasions when persons have to be absent from school for medical reasons. It puts strain on those who are there, and then it also affects the teaching learning process. We have had parents complaining about their child or children coming home sick on several occasions. And so it is not just impacting the staff, but the entire school community. And when you see the school getting the support, you don't hear a parent complain to say, hey, we need to get back to face-to-face, because they understand the situation and their pocket is feeling it.
Mr. Ross?
And so last year we staged a demonstration.
Yeah.
And we have had representative from the National Water Commission who would have visited and give us some promises that it is unfortunate that we had to take this stand again to really get the attention, and I'm really happy that we managed to secure the attention of the minister himself.
Yes. But
so,
what do they attribute the failure over the years to fix this problem? Why has it not been fixed?
Well, one of the comments that would have been made some time ago is that it is a costly venture. And on top of that, there is a rapid development taking place and within the Portmore environment, and that area is literally where everything is channeled. And so once you have development in the area, there's a need for expansion, and there's a need for proper maintenance. And one of the real challenge is that there wasn't that level of adherence to maintenance, because if we did not take this stand, we would not see 3 front-end loader and excavator down there now doing desludging and all of that. And so it means that there has to be some level of maintenance, and there are some equipment that should have been there.
Yes.
Aerators and bigger pumps that will facilitate the process.
Ah. Tell us, for those who don't know the area, where are the ponds in relation to Greater Portmore High School, sir?
Less than our lower school block, that's the 7 to 9, is less than 100 meters from the pond.
Oh. So tell me, Principal Ross, things like lunchtime, what's that like? Preparing food, that kind of stench permeating the air, what's that like?
It's terrible. I can say, because sometimes persons are afraid to eat. You breathe and you're breathing in the stench. You're eating, it's like you're eating. I mean,
yes.
Sometimes you have heavy infestation of flies.
Oh no!
And so the position taken by the staff is not one that they would have wanted. But we have persons. Last week we have at least 2 members of staff reported coughing of blood.
Oh dear. And is Greater Portmore one of those schools that a lot of your students have the devices to be able to access the online classes?
We have a number of students who are unable to, but not just for device reason, but for access. And so that is one of the things that really pains our heart, because the reality is that we want our students to be in the physical space.
Yes.
That's where the teaching and learning is more effective.
Yes.
The Greater Portmore High School, we do not receive students with the 80s and the 90s. And so we want to be able to maximize the teaching learning process so that our students benefit in a real and significant way. And for that to happen, they need to be in the space.
And since you've
But
gone...
if they are in the space and the environment is not conducive,
Yes.
then it is back to naught.
And Principal, since you've gone online since last Thursday, what's the attendance been like in terms of those who are able to log on, do you know?
There is a significant drop in the attendance.
Yeah.
So it's a situation this evening that you have to hope that they'll deliver now this time and fix the problem.
Well, as I would have indicated when Minister Samuda and the team toured, that based on what they outlined that will take place over the next couple of days, that the expectation is that there should be some amount of relief come Monday. We will monitor the situation and to see if such thing will happen, because we are eager and anxious to have the students in the physical space. But the staff is at this point not prepared to re-enter the physical space unless there is a level of improvement. Because last year we were promised that the pumps and aerators would have been in within a 6-month period, and that's over a year now. And we went back in and we continued the process. While we continue the process of teaching and learning, we would have been constantly writing to these individuals to say, hey, this is not tolerable. It is at that point where up to the 14th of February, it got so bad that we had to dismiss school before regular time.
No. Tell me, Principal, we're talking with the principal of Greater Portmore High School. How many students on your roll, sir?
As it is now, the enrollment at Greater Portmore High School stands at 967.
And you go from first form up to fifth or sixth form?
We currently have one group of grade 12 students. So, yes, up to grade 12.
Yeah. And the school has been around for how long?
September will mark us celebrating 30 years of existence.
30 years. And for those 30 years, you have had to endure this?
Well, based on information received, because the reality is that, as I would have indicated, I took up principalship in 2015, and the pond would have been there before the school.
From 1991?
Right, and the school opened 1995.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's the word to your parents this evening, Principal Ross?
The word to our parents is that the Greater Portmore High School is concerned about the health and well-being of every individual within the school and community. And so we are saying to the parents, we are lobbying the relevant authorities to have the matter fixed so that the children can be in a comfortable environment where teaching and learning can take place effectively. Because it makes no sense for them to come to school and every minute they are walking throughout the day, they are saying, the place stinks, and they are not able to even stay in the classroom because sometimes they are in the classroom and it's like the order comes in and sit on them. So we're saying to parents, we want to thank them for their patience so far. We want to thank them for understanding the situation and that we are championing a cause that will allow each and everyone to operate in an environment that is healthy and safe.
How your students do at Greater Portmore?
Repeat?
How do your students do at the CXC level and the other exams that you all do? Give us a sense
we expose all our students to City and Guilds, CSEC, and the Artrus examination. And our students would have performed well across all examination body. There is room for improvement, in particular CSEC, mathematics, and English language that we are working on. As I indicated, we at Greater Portmore High School, we are championing the cause whereby we ensure that we add value to those entrusted in our care. And at the same time, we expose them to the skills so that they can go in society and function. And as such, because just off the top of my head, last year we received 257 students through the PEP. And of the 257 students we received, only 25, not 25%, 25 of those students deemed competent and proficient for the high school curriculum.
That's 10%. That's 10%, Mr. Principal.
And we don't complain. What we do is that I have a diligent and committed staff that continue to work with, and we produce students passing 6, 7, 8, up to 11 CSEC subjects. We have students exiting Greater Portmore High School with a combination of City and Guilds, Artrus exam, and CSEC, 5, 6 subjects. We have students leaving us with 10 CSEC subjects, ranging from grade 1 and 2 as well. So our staff is committed, and we are working with those entrusted in our care because we are committed to educating.
Oh, that is a big ask, though, when 10% of your first form cohort is not ready for the secondary school curriculum. That means you have engaged in a whole lot of remedial learning.
Intervention programs. We have to be doing a lot of intervention programs, and so I must also say thanks to the Ministry of Education realizing that, because they would have also provided additional support in providing us with what is referred to as APS coach, alternate pathway to secondary education coaches. And then we also receive literacy and numeracy specialists as additional support. And so we work with the students we get to ensure that they are functional. And that is why it pains our heart to see them out of the space, because we know what it can do. But then having them in an environment that is not adding, it is causing more stress, more pain on staff, students, and parents. It's not ideal.
And how many of them, what percentage of your school population have the devices at home to access online learning?
Well, off the top of my head, I can say approximately 65 or so percent. And having the device, but then we still have less than that accessing, because whilst they have the device, then it also means that they will have to have the necessary data to access.
Yes.
So that compounds the problem, because the socioeconomic background of our students is not that of the uptown.
Yes.
So there are many factors to look at as to why we'd want to have the students in the physical space.
Yep. Ricardo Ross, principal of Greater Portmore High School. Thank you, sir. And keep at it. Tough job you have as principal of a school such as Greater Portmore.
Thank you very much, sir, and I appreciate you assisting us in championing the cause as well by making it known to the public.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Ross.
You're welcome, sir.
Good. This is Nationwide at 5.
And it's so unfortunate that those who need the most intervention, the most contact time, they're the ones who, unfortunately, are always somehow disadvantaged.
Yeah.
I don't know if a sewage situation near Campion College or Immaculate would have been allowed to continue for so long.
For so long.
Yeah.
No. Time for the break.
Jamaica's Spark program is investing $45 billion to improve roads, water, and telecom. Better infrastructure for a better future. The time by Spark is
7:01.
Yes, it's tax time. March 17 is the due date for your income tax returns. Self-employed individuals are required to file their annual returns SO4 and estimated return SO4A with income tax, education tax, NHT, and NIS due and payable on one return. Companies are required to file the ITO2, which is the annual return, and the estimated return ITO7. Visit jamaicatax.gov.jm or call 888-TAX-HELP for details. Tax Administration Jamaica, working together to serve you even better.
Enough power tool, big to small. Chaka my figure dig the wall. Our Total Tools. Beat waka figure trim the lawn. We have everything your job demand. Total Tools. We rent them, sell them and fix them. Also give Total Tools a call. When I say home improvement, landscape construction, a Total Tools are your option. Home improvement, landscape construction, Total Tools are your option.
Total Tools, located at 102 Main Street, Ocho Rios, 34 Slipe Road, Kingston.
And lot C6 Jacksaw, Sentence Bay. Call us today.
Multi-link, access every time, everywhere I go. Multi-link, 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use multi-link. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere. Spend while supporting the economy.
Look for the multi-link logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network.
Multi-link, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my multi-link?
Three minutes after 7, and we're going to through now to a paid political broadcast by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Nationwide 90 FM now brings you presentations by Senators Delano Seavright and Kamina Johnson-Smith from Friday, February 28, 2025 in the Senate regarding the Counties and Parishes Amendment Act 2025, which was passed, officially designating Portmore as Jamaica's 15th parish. This is brought to you by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Mr. President, I rise to comment briefly on the Counties and Parishes Amendment Act 2025, which seeks to grant parish status to the Portmore City Municipality, making it the 15th parish of Jamaica. I welcome this act and express my sincere appreciation for the opportunity to speak on this historic occasion. This move is not just an administrative change, but a recognition of Portmore's remarkable journey, a journey of transformation from coastal plains and sugar estates to the largest residential community in the Caribbean, with a very high number of university and college-educated citizens, many of who are productive and drive the economy and the administration of our country in many ways. Mr. President, many Portmore residents have long seen themselves as separate from St. Catherine. This is the truth. And this formal recognition only strengthens that identity. Additionally, this elevation to parish status is a natural and necessary step in Portmore's continued growth, ensuring that the people receive the governance, the investment, and the opportunities that they deserve. Commendations, Mr. President, are in order for Prime Minister the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Minister Desmond McKenzie, Joint Select Committee members including Dr. Andrew Wheatley, Robert Miller, Orlando Terrelong, and the many other citizens and stakeholders and MPs and senators who contributed to making this dream of Portmore becoming a parish a reality. Mr. President, Portmore's roots stretch back centuries, and I don't need to go into detail because a lot of it was covered by colleagues here. However, in the mid-20th century, Portmore's modern transformation truly began. By the 1960s, Kingston essentially ran out of large-scale housing project spaces, leading to a bold vision for new developments in Portmore. In this year's Senate, Sir Neville Ashenheim, under the late Prime Minister Hugh Shearer's administration in 1968, described the first housing scheme, Independence City, Senator Morgan, as a vital project to ease Kingston's overcrowding. Now, under the guidance of Moses Matalon, and we should give commendation to the Matalon family for their contributions to the development of Portmore today. And his business partners, we spoke about the causeway, providing critical access to Portmore. We spoke about the Rio Cobre Dike, hence Dyke Road, to protect the area from flooding. Mr. President, these developments paved the way for a building boom, and many local entities, including Gore Developments, Wicon, which is the Matalon family, the National Housing Trust, the Urban Development Corporation, the brainchild of late Prime Minister Edward Seaga, and many others, played a crucial role in shaping Portmore into what it is today. Now, by the 1980s, the population had surged to over 77,000 persons, and by the mid-1990s, with the construction of Greater Portmore, the population doubled to in excess of 160,000, and today we have over 200,000 people calling Portmore home, making it the largest residential area in the Caribbean. So, Mr. President, in 2003, Portmore was granted municipality status, allowing it to elect its own mayor, which awkwardly that mayor is ceremonial at best, is a toothless tiger. So despite the good intentions of the municipality, in its format, frankly, doesn't work well as it should today. Notably, Mr. President, the Joint Select Committee on this matter, dating back to November 2020, was apprised of the fact that discussions about Portmore being designated a parish began prior to 2003. That's over 22 years ago, under the then Prime Minister P.J. Patterson-led administration, and talks about that parish, about the Portmore being designated a parish. And as you would recall, then Mayor George Lee played a critical role in those discussions too. So the Memorandum of Objects and Reasons signed by Minister of Local Government and Community Development, Desmond McKenzie, it says it is envisioned that the designation of parish status on the municipality will strengthen its lobbying capacity, 1. 2, empower its citizens to more independently chart the course of development rather than being subject to the decisions being made for the parish of St. Catherine, of which the municipality, the Portmore municipality, is a part of, and facilitate the opportunity to autonomously manage any allocated resources. Mr. President, this is a necessary and long delayed correction for the people of Portmore, for the Portmore to become a parish. That is a fact. And good heavens, the last time we had any creation of a parish was 1867, under the reign of Queen Victoria. I don't foresee any of us in here seeing another parish developed in Jamaica in our lifetime. Let's just be frank. So this storm in a teacup, this hysteria, really, and this overblown pulpitry from some of our opposition senators is really unnecessary. It really is. The only other place where we expect some sort of administrative adjustment, which will not be a parish, is Negril, because Negril is a unique town that is now spread across 2 parishes, and we have had issues there in terms of the management of Negril between the Westmoreland Municipal Corporation, the Hanover Municipal Corporation, the police, and so on. So there's a need for a new administrative structure to be developed there, and I believe those discussions are ongoing. So there will be no new parish in our lifetime. So here we have a glorious moment to celebrate the development of a parish, a new parish, Portmore, with over 200,000 citizens, a population bigger than many other parishes in Jamaica, and a place that is so amazing in its setup, its dynamics, and its demographics. It's something we should be proud of, and we should not have it drown in political hysteria and nonsense. Respectfully. And that's just my comment on that. Just quickly, Mr. President, the new parish of Portmore, as outlined in the Counties and Parishes Amendment Act 2025, includes the Hellshire Hills, Goat Island, the city of Portmore, of course. This brings really significant opportunities to really give attention to this new parish, right? On the entertainment and leisure side, we have the Port Henderson Road, which has a vibrant nightlife and has the ability to really, which needs more structure. They call it back road, but it needs a bit more structure and organization, you know, and a sense of modernity and more rules. The Jamworld Entertainment Center. I know Minister Babsy Grange is working on that to become a 24-hour entertainment zone. And it has a capacity for 100,000 patrons. I mean, massive facility. We have the Caymanas Park, Jamaica's only horse racing track. And I know the private sector stakeholders there are quite keen on expanding that into a mega sports and entertainment complex. And then beyond that, we have the beaches. We have the Fort Clarence Beach, we have the Hellshire Beach, which is a gastronomic center for authentic Jamaican seafood. We have the Two Sisters Cave, which is a hidden gem, great ecotourism potential. We have the Rodney's Arm, and of course Goat Island, again, ecotourism potential. So the parish is really holistic. It's a holistic parish. It has a major population center, it has a city, it has hills, it has beaches, it has nightlife, it has entertainment. It really has the potential to be something significant. And the fact that Portmore will evolve into this, to me, is truly exciting. And of course, I can't leave out Senator Gale, the Portmore Resilience Park, which Prime Minister the Most Honorable Andrew Jones broke ground for last year, January 17, which represents a forward-thinking urban development, providing green space for recreation, exercise, family-friendly activities, and so on. Really amazing developments for the people of Portmore, and we should be proud as a people that under this administration and our foresight, but also the work of administrations before, and many of our leaders before, we now have a parish of Portmore coming together. And it is an opportunity for the government to strategically coordinate the development of these assets, positioning Portmore as a major economic, social, and cultural hub. So, Mr. President, this is a momentous occasion. We're not just witnessing the creation of a new parish, but the culmination of decades of growth and determination and transformation. And as I said before, the last time we created a parish, and it's important that people of Jamaica know this, was over 158 years ago. And we're not going to see any more parishes created, certainly in the coming decades, or certainly not in our lifetime. So there's no need to have this storm in a teacup and this unnecessary political hysteria. It is globally known that whenever you have a new city borders, new town borders, new parish borders, new province borders, new capital, like Abuja, Nigeria, there was a debate there politically as to why the borders are here. Scotland had a reorganization of their local government divisions in 1996. There were huge debates, but they were responding, like we are, to population shifts and demographic shifts that have happened in spaces, and we have to act accordingly. So, in any event, the fact is, this is a momentous occasion. Boundary concerns will always exist. That's the nature of life. But progress must always take precedence. Full stop. So, parish status will not only provide better governance, it will unlock Portmore's full potential as a center for tourism, entertainment, and economic development. And I'm proud to stand in support of this historic act and excited for what lies ahead of Portmore as it steps into its rightful place as Jamaica's 15th parish. I thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Senator Seabright. I think that's it, Minister.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. Mr. President, I'd like to start where our last speaker ended. And this was on the note that this should be a glorious moment to celebrate. I like that phrase, a glorious moment to celebrate. Because here we are on Jamaica Day, celebrating the fact that as a sovereign nation, an independent sovereign nation, we are able to take decisions under our sworn authority within this parliament as senators, members of this house, where we have the great privilege of being able to make laws for the peace and good government of Jamaica as provided for in the Constitution of Jamaica. What an honor and a privilege. I think that the debate today has not been our best debate. It has not been our best debate because it has not been as reflective as it could have been of the type of unity and celebration of sovereignty that should surround our creation of the first parish that has been created in 158 years. I'm a little disappointed that the opposition has argued against this bill along a vein that seems to be grounded in their belief that we think this is all that needs to be done. They seem to be arguing that declaring the parish, because it will not magically, on second one after its declaration, create everything new in Portmore, that this is therefore somehow grounded in a base political motivation. And I think that's unfortunate, because I think if there is one thing that this administration has demonstrated, it is that where we have a vision for something to be done, that we get it done. And we don't believe that we are the repository of all ideas either. So the 21.5-acre Portmore Resilience Park, which is under construction right now, with all of the facilities that will help to make community and family life balanced and upful and fulfilling, allowing young people to have a place to relax and socialize in a clean and an uplifting way. Families to spend time, do sports, and general, your church groups and other community organizations have a place to meet and build their community, optimize their community. A government that has upgraded and is in the process of upgrading the health facilities that are there and planning a new hospital. One that is building a new development with a master plan structured in a way that has never been structured in Jamaica's development, in Bernard Lodge. A government where our Prime Minister, who remains connected, who loves the people and who the people love, was this very morning at Independence Primary, singing our national anthem with the little ones, celebrating the goodness that is in our young people in Portmore, in Independence City. And I point that out because it is particularly fitting, not because Costas Marlon went there, but because it is a part of the very first development that gave rise to Portmore. And when the late Philip Edward George Siaga said, let us build Independence City, it was the very PNP that said, no, you're sending people to go live in swamp. They did not see the vision. They didn't see the vision. It is the very same people when in 1966, Lyndon Newland of blessed memory also said that would come in with the NIS. They said, no, it's a syntax, when now it's one of the most important institutional support for people, for vulnerable persons in Jamaica, and has given rise to so much more. And this is why we feel confident that the people of Jamaica will judge. As Senator Brown has said, the people of Jamaica will judge because they are wise. They are discerning, and they follow these matters, and they know what's important to them. Good government is important to them. Empowerment is important to them. So where it is that Senator Brown doesn't even realize that he has described Portmore as being a part of the major parish, St. Catherine, as an ethos that doesn't recognize that a lot of people in Portmore want to not be seen as part of St. Catherine. They see themselves as Portmore, and that this gives life and voice to that. So we are not saying that there is a unanimous position. It is quite clear that some of your supporters follow your view. But there are many, many more who this is what they want. And not because it will mean some magic wand is going to make everything perfect, but it sets the path for a level of autonomy and development that has been absent. And it's been absent because of the different dissonant structures that have been described earlier in this debate. So, Mr. President, I want to just touch on two more points that I think should be raised without going too deeply into the fact that it is this difference in how we envision the future for Jamaica that makes one of the distinctions between our administrations. And I'm not going to go into the raft of achievements we have on our side and the dearth on the other. That's not where this argument is going. No. So, but an argument that says that because Lakes Pen and Grange Lane, I believe it is, are going to be excluded, then we are giving less and ignoring what more can come. So I'm not even speaking about the geographic area and trying to balance with Goat Island and Hellshire Hills. Nothing like that, but just saying that this is not about the physical space. It's about the declaration that sets the platform for so much more to happen. Mr. President, on the constitutional issue, I want to just very briefly say we're quite clear that the authority of this Parliament is to make the law which declares the parish. The parish, the act comes into effect on an appointed day. There are matters which must take place after the parish is declared. And that will include constituency boundaries, but they are not part of this declaration process. They are a separate process. They are part of a subsidiary process. They are a part of a reference in a schedule to the Constitution and not a part of the constitutional power, the lawmaking power, which this Parliament has. So the Parliament will declare the parish, and then the boundaries will be sorted using the normal mechanisms of the ECJ thereafter. This is not rocket science. It is a process. And you may have a view about the order in which things should be done, but there are also other views that say that unless the parish itself is declared and the boundaries are recognized, then you cannot take the other actions that would be necessary. So it's unfortunate that you have taken the position that you have this morning, Senator Bunting, and I hope through the President that you will look back at it. I think we all heard the passion with which you expressed your perspective, but I'm hopeful that, again, noting that this is a moment where I think people would more want to see unity than what they're seeing. And I think when people look at the potential positives, they are understanding less what you're saying are the negatives. I don't think that the argument is an argument for now. The Jamaican people want better, and they want more. And I think that in circumstances like this, like the one which puts itself before us today, this bill, this glorious moment, this opportunity, it is a time that we could do better. So I want to say, Mr. President, that just trying to make sure that I'm not disregarding any of the other very important points which were made earlier, but just to expressly opine that the suggestion by Senator Morris, and I think probably Senator Bunting, you had made it as well, the bill does not transgress the Constitution. The bill does not. We have the authority under the law and under the Constitution to make the bill before us, to bring it into passage. And then other things need to be done. And for the people of Portmore, still more things need to be done. But as they can see what is happening around them at this point in time, as they have been seeing, the roads being fixed, the park being built, the thought being given to the hospital, the upgrades to the health centers, the outbuilding of the parish court, improvements to schools, that all of this is happening, but there is still more. Because the vision of a tech park, of Portmore as the Silicon Valley of the Caribbean, these are not things that are by the wave of a hand, but these are things which are possible. The young, educated population of Portmore is a pool of human capacity waiting to be harnessed in a way that can be for them, especially with the increase in housing that is going to take place in short order because it's already on the way. So let's look forward. Let's divest ourselves of some of the base political arguments that have a place elsewhere. Sure, they have a place elsewhere, but really not in this Senate. And this government, or rather the party that now forms government, we had this vision and placed it in our manifesto. We did campaign on it. And we did set up the Joint Select Committee within months of the electoral victory, delivered on the back of that promise. It has taken a little too long to come, I agree with that. It should have come earlier, and it could have, I believe. But that is not sufficient of a flaw in the process to now not be supportive. I think that this is a good day. We can make it a better day for Jamaica, and we can make a better future for the people of Portmore. Senator Morgan, let us end on a positive note. Thank you. Mr. President, please do not undo my goodwill. Mr. President, it has been a long day, but it is a historic day. It is Jamaica Day, and indeed, it is Portmore's Day. So let us, with a sense of purpose, thank everyone for their commitment to this process, even if it is that we disagree. And disagreement is entirely an accepted part of democracy. Let us proceed to third reading of the bill. I thank you.
Those were presentations by Senators Delano Seavright and Kamina Johnson-Smith from Friday, February 28, 2025, in the Senate regarding the Counties and Parishes Amendment Act 2025, which was passed officially designating Portmore as Jamaica's 15th parish. This was brought to you by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Nationwide 90 FM wants to help you find your home sweet home with all things real estate. A 15-minute program during Nationwide This Morning every Wednesday at 8:35 a.m. All Things Real Estate gives you expert advice on how to navigate the process of owning any real estate, from residential and commercial to industrial or even vacant real estate. We'll guide you through every square foot of information. Now, let's turn that for sale into sold with All Things Real Estate every Wednesday at 8:35 a.m. on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
The Watchman, exploring issues shaping our society, government, and business. Provocative, unconventional, Dr. Henley Morgan is The Watchman.
Good evening. Ukraine learns lesson the hard way. Cockroach no business in a foul fight. This Jamaican proverb aptly describes the geopolitical...
Big news! The Big Bite Food Safety Show now airs on Nationwide 90 FM with your host, Alison Richards, the Food Safety Girl. Join Alison every Tuesday from 1 to 2 p.m. as she serves up expert advice, tips, and insights on everything food safety. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and remember, food safety is everybody's business. Don't miss a bite of the action. Tuesdays at 1 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
It is said relationships in the professional space can easily become very friendly and formalities can become frolicking fun. How difficult is it to keep the lines clear and the boundaries in place? Seeing each other daily 9 to 5 might make for the majority of time shared between two who are attracted to each other. Why is workplace romance discouraged in departments? Is it because they usually flow over into too much emotional energy and burn the house down? Well, let's hear it. Join me, Rodman Campbell, every Tuesday from 9 to 10:30 p.m. for Affairs of the Heart, right here on Nationwide 90 FM. This Tuesday's topic, work husband and wife, working closely together or too dangerously close to the walk.
Affairs of the Heart is brought to you by Supermed Pharmacy.
Super Happy, Super Healthy, Supermed, and Durex, distributed by Massey Distribution Limited, Jamaica.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, by God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path. Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
Apply for your Sagicor Bank Preferred Prepaid MasterCard today. Load your remittances for everyday spending. Receive cash transfers from any local bank. The time by Sagicor Bank is...
It's 7:34. We're going to take your calls now, 630-9371 to 618-8255. This is Nationwide at 5.
Join the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC, on March 4 at the Transport Center in Halfway Tree as they launch their campaign, Smart Fare, an exciting new initiative designed to improve your commuting experience. Cliff Hughes Online will be broadcasting live from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., bringing you the latest updates. Then tune in to E-Zone from 3 to 5 p.m. for more coverage. Be there for all the excitement and stay tuned to see what's in store. So don't miss Cliff Hughes Online from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and E-Zone from 3 to 5 p.m. live from the Smart Fare campaign at the Transport Center in Halfway Tree. It's going down on March 4. Be there. All this and more. Only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, your route to excellence.
Papa Nana, you're first. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. How you do?
I'm well. How are you?
Well, from here, your voice, you know, must expect to be most nice, man.
What's on your mind tonight?
All right. Listen, let me say something. Let me touch on Portmore a little, you see?
Yes.
I am not saying that maybe the PNP don't have a reason for not wanting Portmore to become the 15th parish.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They must know because maybe they believe that things maybe not going their way. And the JLP side fit to make it be the 15th parish. But you know what I am asking the government, the Honorable Prime Minister? Portmore, whenever it become the 15th parish, it's going to be a historic day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I am asking the Prime Minister, just a spoonful of sugar, let the medicine go down, let the medicine go down. I'm not going to finish all of it. You know what that means?
What would be the sugar? What would be the sugar?
Okay, you're an intelligent guy. Believe me, you're intelligent. I want the Prime Minister to give the Portmore people a break from the toll road.
Oh.
The Portmore people, give them a spoon of sugar and let that medicine go down in a delightful way. You know that song?
No, you me here singing for you first time tonight.
Yes, let the medicine go down.
So you're telling the Prime Minister to bribe the Portmore people?
No.
Into accepting parish status?
No.
You want to distract them?
No.
Dangle something shiny in front of them while Portmore becomes the 15th parish?
No.
You turn political strategist, Papa Nana.
We can't manage you. We have moved to something else. Anyway, I won't train you. Confused.
Him same one.
Don't call up my name.
Him same one. But no, Papa Nana, that is actually that's a strategy leaders use sometimes. So you might be onto something.
Listen to me. You know, somebody was going to ask you if he was there.
Yes, man, him there, man.
Me there, I listen to you.
Oh, you look at it. I feel you should have given them. But Mr. You should have known that song there, man.
You know it?
No, sir.
Him don't know it.
Man. Let the medicine go down, medicine go down in a delightful way.
You're joking, though.
You have everybody over here laugh Papa Nana. But no, seriously though, Papa Nana, that is a strategy leaders use sometimes.
You know, some have a feeling, Mr. You tell you if so.
No, it's true. No, it's true. It's true. Political leaders do that all the time.
Of course.
All the time.
Yes. But anyway, that is a thought. What I'm saying, you know that don't matter how you hide the truth deep, don't matter how deep you put the truth, it always find a way to come on top.
Yes, a true truth.
Always.
There you go. Press to the ground will rise.
Will rise to the top.
All right, sir. You see what is happening to Mr. Golden now? You know, to be honest to you, I think I don't think people can blame him too much for trying to reach to Jamaica House. But he's doing it in a wrong way. You can't go to foreign all the while, and Jamaica is so bad, and you try to destabilize the country that you're trying to lead. You never have anything good of saying about the Prime Minister, when the Prime Minister not even saying anything bad about him. Look at when they ask Mr. Bunting again what he thinks if he don't believe that the Minister of National Security do something. He's not here to do PR. No, look at it. And you say you have something that is good for the country, but you're afraid to publish it and they go and adapt it. You don't business who want to adapt it. You should be proud that somebody going to use your idea to build the country. That's right, no?
Yeah.
When Mr. Wallace came into power, he says he's not going to destroy what he come there and see. As long as it can work, he's going to use some what he believes is good and work to improve the others that is not too right. You don't behave every day you get up, Lord. You know, my grandmother tell me a thing, you know. He said, if you take your finger and make a knot, you will lose it. But when you take your tongue and make the knot, it's very, very hard to lose. And I'm warning them, be careful. Just be careful, man. The country is going in the right direction to me. But if you say it is not, it is so. But let me tell you one thing now, last and for all. God is not going to forsake his children for strangers. Thank you very much, sir.
Have a good night.
Papa Nana.
What's a dinner, Papa Nana?
Hello?
What's a dinner?
Oh my God, man! You when we look after that, you not come boneless cow head and turn cornmeal.
Oh,
boneless cow head and turn cornmeal.
Yeah, but you try no, but that try to fix up that, you know, because you know you wouldn't hear the manage.
the cow head well pepper.
Oh Jesus Christ! You look like the man here prophet. Come on,
man. Me know the cow head. We know the pepper. Nice man, nice man.
But it's boneless, nice man. Because I don't eat beef, you know, but I eat the food.
Yeah.
And guess I'm saying no. I prefer the pigtail and the foot to the pork now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and ham is not pork. Remember that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the cornmeal, the turn cornmeal, how you prepare that?
All right, listen to me now. Mama Nana, explain to Mr. Hughes how you do the cornmeal.
Mama Nana. So there's Papa Nana.
Mama Nana.
Yes. When we doing the turn cornmeal, I get a coconut grated.
Yes.
Well, I tell him to me grated.
Right? And put in the scallion thyme.
Yeah.
Pepper. And put it. Maybe.
Top noodle too.
Sometimes.
Oh.
Not all the time. And when those boil,
yeah,
I put the meal into it and stir it.
Okay. And put it on low heat.
Yes, for 7 minutes.
Oh, just 7 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
And it eat good.
Yes, turn on the stove and it good. Yeah. What? One day when you pass, you tell me it make you feel.
All right.
But you make sure that I'm at home.
Look here, you know, must get it with the cow head or the cow skin, but you will get it with the ackee and saltfish.
Okay.
I love the ackee and saltfish. I'm not sure about
Right,
the
you
corn.
only tell me a day before.
All right.
You remember when them have the cook-off when you do the ackee and saltfish, it was soup.
All right, Papa Nana, go on.
And Mama Nana.
Mama Nana, have a good night.
Good night.
Good.
Good.
Let's take a time signal and come back with more.
The national budget is everybody's business because it impacts every Jamaican. The time brought to you by the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service is
7:40. Go ahead.
17 minutes to 8.
630-937-124 618-8255. Winston, good evening.
Yes, God, good evening. Mr. Hughes, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Labourite.
A week in politics is a very long time.
Yes, Sir Harold Wilson, the famous British politician, said.
A couple of weeks ago, I heard the Honorable Mr. Patterson say that he was called out to open the innings. And when you check back history, as a cricketer for the PMP, he did not have a lot of runs on the board. But now, I heard this captain over the weekend technically conceding defeat to the match, and the match don't play yet. So I think Mr. Patterson maybe want to reconsider his position in field, not in the slips here. Maybe you want to feel down on the boundary where he can easily excuse himself out of the pitch how much people don't see him.
Mm-hmm.
What I tell him is, Mr. Ricardo, I think that was a very disappointing statement from a leader of a political party. In all my history in politics, I've never heard of something like this yet. A leader of a political movement right in the era of elections a couple months ago. Mr. Golden technically conceding that he can win. So I think this trip overseas to those people that he was talking to was to sum up support and also get some donation.
Mm-hmm.
But I think now most of those people, internationally and locally, are on a dismal platform, because the leader is technically conceding defeat. So if a man can contribute $50 or $100, it's a headache. Why? It don't look so good.
Mm-hmm.
Let me give him a $10 or a $20. I think it's a very, very sad and negative statement from the leader of the opposition.
It's a big political boo-boo.
Blunder.
Yeah.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you assess it properly, I mean, technically, the gentleman is conceding the defeat, and the election will run yet.
Or at a minimum, conceding that it's going to be very, very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And he may not have what it takes to do it.
But that's exactly what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the comrades are in a very sad mood today. You understand? I don't know Marky G will get out of this. I don't think I'll get out of this one. But that was very negative of him to be blaming the media. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're saying, the jail, like you were saying, the jail people control the media and control the elite. Come on. You're bashing the private sector, who is the engine of the country. You don't do that as a leader. Anytime when a leader of a political party, you're in the spotlight and you're going after the media, believe you me, you're committing suicide.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you. Have a good evening.
All right, Winston.
Alric, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Chris.
Good evening. Good evening.
Boy, I heard you on the principal a while ago, and I know, Cliff, you don't like hear those things. Every time I hear about what's happening in education because of negligence, and I listen to what the principal said to you, and you always say it, Mr. Youth. Those schools get the average students.
Below average.
Are below average.
Yes.
And when you have to, Mr. Hughes, how can they sit there so long with this problem? And I always say, those guys who are in charge who are supposed to correct the thing, children don't attend that school.
Mm-hmm.
It's people like me. Children attend those schools. And Mr. Hughes, this happens so often now that it's becoming a recurrent decimal.
Yeah.
They have to do better than that. It just looks like we're not interested in lifting a certain class of people, children, out of the quagmire of education where they are. And then they graduate without reading good, Mr. Hughes. You always say it, you know.
Mm-hmm. And they underachieve. They fail to achieve.
Every time, Cliff.
Mm-hmm.
Every time. Last week, Owen called you about Roberta Flack.
Uh-huh.
You remember I told you that she was living in Jamaica with Capo?
Yes, yes.
Well, I went and did a little research because I didn't know about it. I'll tell you what I found out. She did. She was there. Capo's daughter is her goddaughter.
Yes.
And when she passed common entrance, she said she wanted to go to Immaculate or St. Hilda's, and her father sent her to live in America with Roberta.
Yes.
Because the political tide was changing and they had burnt down his house. Some were saying because he was aligned to Mr. Siaga had loved him that much, he was a laborite.
Oh.
But he said what they didn't know is that Mr. Manley was his daughter's godfather.
Oh.
So they were aligning him to Mr. Siaga and didn't know the other side of the coin.
Yes.
So the daughter said she rebelled against him, not knowing why. So when she went to live with Roberta, she rebelled against her too. Because she didn't want to leave Jamaica. She wanted to go to one of those two top-notch schools.
Mm-hmm.
And Roberta told her to call her mama, and she rebelled, so she started calling her Mimi.
Mm.
But after a while, she realized it was good for her because she lived on the street. She said one man she was walking, and it was Morgan Freeman coming up the street.
Yes.
And a whole heap of stars live on her street. So eventually she accepted her godmother.
Oh.
And have a good life, went to university. And she said her godmother has a whole heap of hard work from Capo and from some other people. So Owen knew what he was talking about.
Yes, yes.
Okay, right. So she bought Capo. Capo didn't want to take any money for any of the artwork that he gave her. So she bought him a brand new VW and handed him the keys.
So
he had to accept that. So I said, I then lied and told that Owen knew where he was coming from. And I called Owen and told him that I learned something from him.
Okay.
So
where you learned that, Ulrich? Where you read it?
I went to YouTube to find out about Capo and his daughter, and I read it for a good little piece in there, and I called Owen the same time and told Owen that I'd tell you.
Okay, good.
Because I didn't know, and I was saying, what?
Mm.
But Owen said he was from Cockburn Pen. He grew up in Cockburn Pen.
Mm-hmm.
And Owen went to Calabar.
Mm-hmm.
So he said he grew up in a site at Big Yard Circle, and and was around all those guys, the Naya Bingi and the 12 tribe and all those Negos, sons of Negos and those people. So he was, was a bit close to them growing up when he was at Calabar.
Yeah.
All right, Ulrich. Thanks for the call.
Take it easy, guys.
All right, cool.
Some news out of the United States, Cliff listeners. The U.S. President has announced, or the White House rather, has announced that the United States will pause military aid for Ukraine. The U.S. is pausing all current military aid to Ukraine until Trump determines the country's leaders have demonstrated a good faith commitment to peace. And weapons that are currently en route to Ukraine, those are being stopped as well at ports and depots in Poland. The U.S. president says he's reviewing the situation, and unless Russia and Ukraine demonstrate what the White House is terming good faith commitments to peace, those that military aid, those weapons, will not continue.
So is that approach applicable to the Russians if they do not demonstrate good faith?
It appears to be only directed at Ukraine.
Ukraine.
Yes.
The people whose country they Russian dictator, yes, invaded. They are the ones being punished for what Putin did.
Keisha, long time no hear you. Good evening.
Hi, Ricardo. Long time. How you going?
All right, what going?
Oh, I'm there. I'm good. I'll bless up yourself, Papa Nana. I'm a matey, Mama Nana. Bless up yourself.
Oh, Jesus.
Mr. Hughes.
You know, that show you have to go serious. Dana, you need to put on your foot. That show you need to serious.
I am a side chick, so this is Sister Nana.
I see. Oh, so Papa, Mama, and Sister. All right. What are going, Keisha?
Boy, I'm there. Let me tell you, Mr. Hughes.
Yes, Keisha.
Damian had a leak. Damian Crawford had a leak voice note some time back. You remember that, like, that, well, you know, circulated leak voice note?
Same
Remember in a part of the voice note, him tell Jamaica people, say, Mark can't cut it.
That was in
You see that,
2020.
Somewhere around
When
that
he said
time.
Mark Golding should hold it for a little bit and then hand it over to him?
Him say Mark can't cut it, him is not a go in 400 meter runner. You understand? And when me know if you have Steve Francis and if you have Venmil, let me know when to pick them at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Mark now peak right now. Mr. Hughes,
Yes, Keisha.
you watch School Challenge Quiz, sir?
No, I don't get a chance to watch it anymore, you know.
I know, because it would be in studio. Well, Mr.
Yes.
Hughes,
Uh-huh.
I'm calling to congratulate Magati High School. I want to do this sometime, but you know, but based on what I'm seeing unfolding at Magati High School, Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
they need to get a little thing in the spotlight because Mr.
Is
Hughes,
them beat KC the other day?
PSC come beat Monroe again, Mr. Hughes.
What?
Oh, them beat Monroe?
Yes.
What? So they're into the quarterfinals or the semifinals?
This is the advance to the quarterfinals, sir.
But they beat Monroe and before
And
KC?
PSC, a underdog, Mr. Hughes.
Oh?
Mr. Hughes, tomorrow, Mr. Hughes, I beg you, Mr. Hughes, you need to get the principal at Magati High School to come and speak. What is the paradigm shift that is going on at Magati High School in a positive way?
Where you say, Keisha, is a wow moment.
It is a more than a wow, Mr. Hughes. Mr. Hughes, I am telling you, what I know, Mr. Hughes, I must say, I St. Elizabeth me come from, you know.
Uh-huh.
But guess what? You see, for the man who play one next team out of St. I go root for them, but I love root for underdog, Mr. Hughes.
Yes, understandably, yes.
And you know why, Mr. Hughes? Because I remember there were kids when they pass a certain school, they ball, them no want to go. No, me can't tell anybody based on the glimpse what I saw happen between 2 weeks back, almost roughly 3 weeks back, and now people, trust me, Magati High School is one of these schools.
I see somebody on YouTube telling me the score was 30-26.
For Monroe today.
And that the principal of Magati is a Monroe old boy?
My God. Mr. Hughes, please, tomorrow, Mr. Hughes, I could have a 5 minutes, Mr. Hughes, in your program, because your program is so worldwide, that's why I need nationwide, right?
Yes.
And I would have, Mr. Hughes, because you know where our education system is at now, right?
Yes.
I really want to get
This is a big achievement for Magati. This is one of the most underrated schools in Jamaica. People not paying attention to Magati and to have defeated two of the best.
Cool, if you're
yes, and between Monroe and KC,
they have a storied history in the quiz competition.
Yes. And they have won Schools Challenge quiz on several occasions.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
You see, somebody said I want to call Mr. Hughes, I have to put it for your station.
And I appreciate that, Keisha.
Yeah, and I want to big up.
We need to find out what is happening at Magati.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We need to big up all the teachers and the coaches, Mr. Hughes, and the parents, them, Mr. Hughes, and the principal, guidance concern all at Magati High School. Something is going on there in a positive way, Mr. Hughes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Very well. Thank you so much for that, Keisha.
Yes, sir. You're welcome. Take care.
Yes. This is big. Magati beat K. I remember when it happened about 2-3 weeks ago. It was all over. Yeah? Yes. The KC boys were very embarrassed. And now Monroe?
I'm not going to tease my friend Kenyatta too much. He's a coach of Kingston College. Oh. Good evening, Kenyatta.
Yeah?
You don't have to feel so bad now. I know you're alone.
Oh, she have bugs?
Oh, you went to KC Boots?
Boots is a KC boy.
Oh no.
Oh dear. Well,
But you know, there's something about the KC motto that no matter how much time them get beaten in, them can always say,
"We will rise.
The brave may fall." But yeah, it's a good motto. It's a good motto. It's a good motto.
Yes. Well, that's good to know that Magotty is doing so.
Congratulations to the quiz team at Magotty.
Yeah, boy. Anyway, that's how we're going to leave it for this evening. We want to say thanks to all of our YouTubers. Look at them. Yeah? Thousands of them.
33 of them.
Yeah. You know? And they're there. And we want to say thanks to our WhatsAppers as well as our tweets. Thank you so much. To our producer, Dana Davey, our technical operator, yes, a KC man, Andrew Anderson. And of course, our callers. I'm Cliff.
And I'm Ricardo.
Reminding you, take care of your loved one and look out for your neighbor. Good night.
Good night.
In this uncertain